15 the top with the 6 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Jade Robrin.
For the best price, quality and same-day service, trust Complete Windscreens. RAA approved, Main North Road, Prospect.
Investigations are continuing this morning after two trucks collided just before 7 p.m. last night on the Sturt Highway near Argent Road in the Barossa Valley. Emergency services rushed to the scene where one man was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. AirAsia's first flight between Bali and Adelaide will be getting ready to descend. It's due to touch down shortly before 6:30 a.m. with a water salute welcoming the international flight onto South Australian soil. A handful of Australians have arrived home after leaving Israel on the first repatriation flight arranged by the federal government. 118 Australians and one New Zealander were helped out of the war zone on the RAAF flight when the airspace reopened due to the ceasefire.
I'm still worried about my family in Israel, but I'm very happy to see my family here. I'm very happy to be back.
The boss of a global tobacco company claims Australia has the worst illicit tobacco market in the world. British American Tobacco's chief executive claims the industry is out of control and is now on par with countries like South Africa and Malaysia. And Australia is mourning the loss of legendary yachtsman Hugh Trehan, who passed away in Sydney at the age of 84. Trehan was the mastermind and tactician aboard Australia 2 during the historic 1983 America's Cup win, which ended the New York Yacht Club's 132-year winning streak. A report has found young Australians earn slightly more than their predecessors but face increasing student debt. The E61 Institute has revealed average real wages increased by 6% between 2012 and 2022 for 30-year-olds, while student debt jumped 45% in the same period. Research economist Matthew Maltman says it reflects the trends in tertiary education.
More people are going to university, and when they are going to university, they're doing higher levels of degrees. But it's also a reflection that the costs have gone up at a time where young people are trying to pay off, that debt. They're trying to also get into the housing market.
New research has highlighted the huge potential of remote work to reshape regional Australia. A nationwide survey by Regional Australia Institute found 2 in 5 city residents are now considering a move to the regions, and that's double the figure from just a year ago. Nearly half say they'd keep their current job and work remotely, while 29% would seek new opportunities. And Katy Perry is waking up in Adelaide this morning. She touched down late yesterday ahead of her first show at the Entertainment Centre tonight. Perry originally left SA off the itinerary, but the Premier stepped in when they crossed paths at the grand final. She'll now play a total of 4 shows here.
Baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you work. Make 'em go, as you shoot across the sky.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Katy Perry's number 1 fan, Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jade. Australia's got work to do with the ball late on day 1 of the first test against the West Indies in Barbados. After winning the toss and electing to bat, the Aussies struggled, dismissed for only 180. South Aussie Travis Head top scoring with 59, while Usman Khawaja made 47. Jayden Seales took 5 wickets for the home side, while Shamar Joseph chipped in with 4. In reply, the Windies are currently 1 for 16. Let's get to footy, and Port Adelaide's made 4 changes for tonight's clash against Carlton at home. The Power had brought back Aliir, along with veteran Travis Boak, Logan Evans and Hugh Jackson. Ryan Burton, Jackson Mead, Jeremy Finlayson and Christian Moraes have all been dropped. The Blues have also made 4 changes. Well, 6 Aussies have made the final round of qualifying for Wimbledon. Craig Gabriel is in London.
Priscilla Hahn, Alex Bolt, Talia Gibson, James McCabe, Emerson Jones in her debut, and Lee Tu play for a spot in the main draw. Tu produced the winner of the round. He beat Japan's Sho Shimabukuro 3-6, 7-6, 7-6. The breakers were 10-8 and 11-9. Meanwhile, in Eastbourne, teenager Maya Joint has backed up her first round win over Ons Jabeur by upsetting 7-seed Emma Raducanu 4-6, 6-1, 7-6 to reach the quarters.
Which was a fantastic effort. Unfortunately, Kim Birrell also lost at that Eastbourne tournament, so she's out. Meantime, Bernard Tomic has been beaten in his second round match at the Majorca Open. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tommy. Now the 5AA forecast.
Bring your event to life in a venue where it all comes together. Search Adelaide Convention Centre.
Partly cloudy and 15 today, 16 and cloudy tomorrow, and mostly sunny for Saturday and 15. Right now, it's 8 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
No two families are the same. And with over 30 home designs and flexible floor plans, your Burbank home won't be either. Thoughtfully built, beautifully lived in. Burbank, the pursuit of living. BLD 266709.
The BMW Expo sales event is ending soon. Don't miss your chance to enjoy savings equal to the GST on new BMW vehicles. Visit your participating BMW dealer today. bmw.com.au.
Investigative journalist Denham Hitchcock and award-winning journalist Amelia Brace are putting the truth first when they bring you 10 News Plus at 6. And it all starts Monday after 10 News at 5.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated, because it's personal.
Moving parcels, big and small, Aussie Fast can take them all. Fast and reliable freight, logistics and courier solutions for businesses across Australia. Aussie Fast, proudly South Australian owned and operated for over 30 years. Aussie Fast offer prompt, reliable and on-time delivery, from interstate line haulage to local couriers and distribution, plus a huge, secure, fully monitored warehouse. All your freight right to your door. Call 13 13 64.
Unlock your next getaway with a chance to win one of 2 Crusader caravans, plus 50k in vouchers to be won nationally. Buy the Advertiser from Sunday, June 29. Head to winwithnews.com.au. T's and C's apply. T25/904.
Are you on the hunt for Adelaide's freshest eggs, collected from a family farm every morning? Do you seek the finest produce, along with the widest selection of Dutch products in Adelaide? Your search ends here, at the Fresh Egg Shop in Clemzig. Discover a bounty of free-range chicken, duck and quail eggs, alongside an array of other hearty local offerings, such as boiler chickens, KI honey, almonds, homemade jam and biscuits. The Fresh Egg Shop, located at OG Road, Clemzig. Just look for the giant egg.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
9 minutes after 6, good morning to you and welcome to Thursday on 5AA Breakfast, the 26th of June. Jam-packed program for you this morning. And the first program this week, I reckon, we haven't started by referencing the wild weather. It's not that weather's not the story, though. We're going to be crossing to the Kingston District Council and the Yankalilla Council after 6:30 today to talk about the jetties that have just gotten smashed out in regional areas of South Australia. We'll get into that because it's a bit of a complicated space in terms of who's responsible, who pays for it, ratepayers, otherwise. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll get you up to speed with the latest regarding the Erin Patterson trial out of Victoria, the killer beef Wellington, or was it? We will find out with Estelle Griepink from 7 News just before 7 o'clock today. Stern warnings from the Premier regarding some of these pay disputes that are going on at the moment. The doctors were on strike yesterday. Bernadette Mulholland will be on the program today. Are they deterred at all by the Premier's strong language? We'll find out. Matt Abraham will dissect the spin of the week. And we've got your footy tips covered as well with Ryan Fitzgerald. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. I think that jetties are one of the most serene things you can walk along. I just love walking along a jetty. I remember, the last day of your holidays, there's always a sort of wistfulness. Like I think, when you have the big summer break like we do, the last few days you start thinking, back to the grind. Then you get to work and it's like, oh yeah, it's like putting on an old slipper and you're fine again. But I can remember having a really nice last day of my holidays. What would it have been 3 years ago when the that big chunk of the jetty at Rapid Bay fell into the sea? And we were down at Aldinga. We had been most of the time, and I was with the kids, and Kate was doing other stuff. And I said, I might just drive down to Rapid Bay with the boys and see what it looks like. Go down and walk up and down the jetty. And, just I don't know what it is. Doesn't matter which jetty you're at. You know, a suburban one like Brighton, you're spoiled for choice. You got a good list of jetties down your way, Will. Semaphore, Grange, Henley.
You keep going. Glenelg, Brighton.
But, who's going to fix them? And for a place like Kingston, it's got an economic sort of element to it as well.
Completely. Yeah, these are significant stories. We'll talk about them after 6:30 today. It is the 26th of June. It's a Thursday, and it's also the first night of, well, it's not a residency, but Katy Perry appearing at the Entertainment Centre for 4 straight nights. That will have kids, or maybe even grandkids, they've had to take to concerts in the past. And there'll be a lot of parents that are taking kids to Katy Perry tonight or over the next 4 days. For the Illuminate tickets this morning, when have you had to and either hated or enjoyed, could be either, taking your kids to a concert? What have you gone to see? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Have you got good memories? Maybe you were the child that went with a parent. 822 or text us on 0480 1395 with your stories.
I wonder if there's any other dads who were at the Miley Cyrus concert.
You were scarred by this.
I am. I've been seeing a psychologist for years about going to what I thought was the Hannah Montana concert with my then tweeny daughter, Soph. She was probably 12.
She transitioned out of Hannah Montana, didn't she?
Well, she transitioned out of Hannah Montana at the interval at the entertainment centre.
Oh, really?
Well, she came out and was doing all the sort of Butterfly, Fly Away and Party in the USA. And she said, I'll be back after a short break. She came out dressed like she was at the Crazy Horse. Dead set. I thought we were meant to put like dollar bills in a bra. Like it was
right.
It was unbelievable. And there was this row of dads looking up and down the aisle at each other, going, what is this, the end of season footy trip all of a sudden? Well, it's just extraordinary.
So if you go back to the car, love, Daddy will be there in a minute.
I'm just going to hang out here with these other dads.
Craig at Blackwood's called in. Craig, did you have a little one you had to take to a concert?
Good morning, Yeb. I had to take my 9-year-old to the AC/DC concert. I think it was 2009, early 2010.
You had to, Craig. Doesn't sound like they had to twist your arm.
Well, I got left with him, and it was great taking him. He learnt a lot. There's a lot going on at the AC/DC concert these days. So he learned a lot through certain songs. First time he'd seen things, smelt things, all sorts of things. So he had a great time, and it was a tough gig for me as well.
Yeah,
I would describe that as quality parenting, Craig.
Craig described it as educational, which is what it was. Mind expanding.
Well, I love that movie, School of Rock. Jack Black.
Terrific movie. Written by Mike White, who did all the White Lotus TV programs.
Seriously?
Yeah. And he's in it, actually, as well.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's the teacher that Jack Black impersonates. He's his roommate. That's Mike White.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're joking?
Yeah.
Because I've never seen him in any other films, that guy.
No, he appeared in Survivor, actually. He was a contestant in Survivor, Mike White.
You're joking?
He's a fascinating guy.
I love the scene at the end where Jack Black's character is turned it in. Mr. Schneebly, that's his name. He's turned it into a business, and he opens the School of Rock, and the final scene is him teaching those kids to play Long Way to the Top.
That's right.
Amazingly talented kids.
It's a great fun film.
Great message too, that film.
822 300 00. So Craig is, for his expert parenting, is in the running to win Illuminate tickets. Celebrate art, light, music, food and technology at Illuminate Adelaide. SA's premier winter event, July 2nd to 20th. Book now at illuminateadelaide.com. You too can be in the running if you tell us a story. When have you taken your kids to a concert? Maybe you, like Craig, brought them along. Maybe you went under sufferance like David to go see Miley Cyrus. Let us know. 822 300 00.
What about you, Will? Have you had to go to Bluey or anything like that yet with Rosie?
Been to the Wiggles.
The Wiggles.
I've been to the Wiggles. Last weekend went to Disney on Ice.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I'm getting into the sweet spot of just going to stuff. And eventually I'm going to start taking Rosie.
Harris Scarf Friends mega sale is on now. Save 50% off full-price quilts and pillows, 50% off full-priced flannelette quilt cover sets and sheets, and 40% off full-price bras and underwear. Hurry, sale ends Friday. Conditions apply. Harris Scarf. Great brands, great prices.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Every child deserves a flying start. That's why the Government of South Australia is rolling out preschool for 3-year-olds to improve outcomes for young children. There's never been a better time to explore a career in early childhood, with a growing number of roles, financial support while you study, and flexible career pathways. Play your part in their flying start. Visit earlychildhood.sa.gov.au/flying start. A message from the Government of South Australia.
1 minute you've got a life in front of you and you're happy and you've got your family, and the next minute you've got nothing. And I thought to myself, this is the end of my life. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. But Hutt Street Centre straight away made me feel like I'm safe. I'm comfortable. There is another day tomorrow, and it's going to be a bright day. That's what Hutt Street is to me.
This winter, help bring warmth and hope to people who need it most by making a donation. Visit huttstreetcentre.org.au.
Your new local has been freshly renovated and relaunched.
That's right. The Para Hills Community Club has got more to offer than ever before. It's so fresh, the paint has only just dried.
The Para Hills Community Club's a social hub that brings people together for a classic hospitality experience. Whether you're heading in for a family meal, letting your hair down with a few drinks and some live entertainment, or you're looking for an exceptional function space, the crew look forward to seeing you.
And if you're a Northern local looking for your people, become a member and join the community for great discounts and specials.
Get down to your new local, the Para Hills Community Club, Bridge Road, Para Hills.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Head to the Excelsior Hotel every Thursday and get $10 off steaks. The Excelsior Hotel, 110 Coghlan Street, Brompton. Feels like coming home, but better.
Health and wellbeing looks different to everyone, which is why Health Partners is more than just your health partner. And thanks to Health Partners, I caught up with Port Adelaide's Matilda Scholes to learn about how everyday movement can boost my mental wellbeing. From quick walks to light stretching, Matilda says staying active, even in small ways, helps manage her energy, mood, and keeps her mentally sharp. Looking after your health and wellbeing is better with a partner. Health Partners, health insurance made human.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Barossa and Clare has always been well worth a trip, especially with their end of financial year sale on over 500 new, used and demo cars, including a great range of new and demo Ford Rangers at heavily reduced prices. Plus, they're offering an additional $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Head to Steinborner Ford in Clare or view the whole range at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth a trip.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
19 after 6, Katy Perry's first concert is on tonight. First of 4, asking you about times you've taken kids or grandkids to concerts. Maybe you did it out of love. Maybe you did it because you thought it was the right thing to do. Getting some great stories through. Di says she and her husband took their very young boy to a Kiss concert where our youngest son at the tender age of 4 fell asleep. Tough to do. Ralph, good morning.
Good morning. 1988 was the hit year for Poison, and they played at the Showgrounds, and my daughter was 11. Most of the crowd there were hardly 11-year-olds. They were mostly the waitresses from places like Cobb's and Checkmates and Lois's. And the support act was a band called Roxas, and they used every 4-letter word in the book as they did their act. And the lead singer thought he was cute and went for a big run across the stage, tripped over a wire and absolutely stacked himself and finished up doing the set with a blood nose, and I'm sure he lost a tooth.
Roxas
was the concert that I expected it to be.
Roxas. Wonder if Roxas is still going.
Yeah, good on you, Ralph.
Thanks, Ralph.
Keep coming through. All eligible for the Illuminate tickets this morning, 8223 0000. The South Australian Police have put out a $500,000 reward for information with regard to the whereabouts of Peter Falconio's remains. The reason being that Bradley John Murdoch, the man accused of murdering him, doesn't have long left on this earth. He's never come forward. He's never revealed where the body was. He's maintained his innocence right to this point. So there seems to be a sort of feeling that this is a last chance to find Peter Falconio, perhaps the last best chance. Hannah Ford for 7 News has been doing a power of work covering this story. Hannah, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So they're not going to get anything out of Murdoch, are they? So is the hope that maybe someone close to him will respond to a reward like that?
Yeah, well, I think obviously they remain hopeful that Murdoch will do a good deed on death's door, but at this stage it's not looking likely. He's not positively engaging with them, according to Northern Territory Police. They've made sort of a last push to hope that he will actually reveal where he's put Peter Falconio's body. As last few days, we understand detectives have gone into his palliative care facility and tried again to re-interview him to see whether he will finally give it up. But if it's not him, they're hopeful that he's confided in someone over these years, and that whoever he may have told will find it inside them to come forward and finally tell police where his body is. So yesterday is when they announced on the eve of the 24-year anniversary of Peter Falconio's death that they were upping their reward to $500,000, which would hopefully get someone to come forward and give Peter Falconio's family the closure they want.
It would also be a significant form of closure for Joanna Lees as well, you'd imagine, Hannah. In the course of doing your work on this story, do you know anything about her life now? Like, is she still in England? Because she had been totally out of the public eye, as is her right, for decades now.
Yeah, as far as I know, she's still in Yorkshire in the UK, and has been a little bit of a recluse as far as I know. Throughout doing a bit of work on this story, I've spoken to a few people who've been involved in this for a long time, including the investigating officer who actually arrested Murdoch, and spent a lot of time with Joanne Lees as well. The insight from her was very interesting. Joanne Lees, in terms of, I guess, an interesting character. Murdoch as well. Murdoch, she said, she found very polite, very almost manipulative and charismatic in the way he went about things. I think we've all seen that vision where he's being hauled out of the Adelaide court looking almost like a monster, very angry and huge. He's such a tall man, and there's so many stories of when he stands up in the box in court, being just how intimidating he is. So to hear this insight that he was, charming almost, is very interesting, but also explains why he's getting this almost special treatment and being taken out of palliative care facilities and wheelchairs and doing outings. I mean, he's a killer.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But he's been given this extraordinary treatment because it seems like the prison guards, they really like him. And he's made friends, which is it's just extraordinary to me.
Yeah, that is extraordinary. Hannah, thank you. Great reporting as always. Hannah Ford for 7 News here in Adelaide. Hopefully someone comes forward.
Maybe it's less extraordinary when you think about the checkered history of the justice system in the Northern Territory.
Well, maybe. That's true. 24 minutes after 6. We might just do one or two quick headlines before we get to sport. This is extraordinary. We might do some more work on this. And if you're a family, one of the 199 kids that have been affected by this, we'd love to hear from you today. An after-school care company who left a sleeping boy alone on a locked bus has been served a suspension notice. So they've basically been closed. A primary school-age boy attending Happy Haven Osh in Adelaide's north was left on a bus, which was then locked and parked at a depot. The sector's watchdog, the Education Standards Board, has suspended the OSH run by Happy Haven at Riverdale Primary School in Salisbury Downs. Have a listen to this mum on 7 News last night.
My children have been hurt more than 20 times, a couple of times seriously. We've had 3 broken bones. It's happened to my kids. They've lost my kids before. There is no structure, no routine and no care. I think they're capable of running a service at the standard that it should be at, that our kids deserve, that we deserve. The peace of mind that our kids are safe.
So it's not just Riverdale Primary School that are affected. There are 4 schools that use this shaft. Out of hours care, they actually bus the kids there. This is a huge operation. So the allegations are
I don't know whether
quite
it's
shocking.
a lack of training, a lack of resources, what the story is, but whatever the case, it's completely unacceptable, and it's right that the regulator came down on them like a ton of bricks, as inconvenient as it is going to be for parents at a total of 4 schools that are affected by this.
Indonesia's Air Asia inaugural flight between Bali and Adelaide will touch down this morning, due to arrive shortly before 6:30. It will receive a water cannon salute.
Oh, yes.
Welcome to Adelaide.
Welcome.
Bang, there are the cannons. Thank you very much. You can feel the excitement. 8.3 degrees outside of the city at the moment.
Excited.
I'm up and about. 15, the expected top today. It'll be cloudy. 16 tomorrow. No real rain to speak of. Maybe a drizzle today, but nothing notable. Saturday, 15, mostly sunny. Sunday, 15 and up to 2 mils of rain. Monday, 15 and pretty dry. Tuesday, 15 and nothing. Wednesday, 15 and nothing. It is just consistently cold and not particularly wet over the course of the next week.
No.
Di in Underdale's on the line. Di, you have to take your kids to a concert?
Oh, I didn't. I don't do Kiss, can't stand them. But my husband has been to every Kiss concert that's been here in Australia. And yes, one of them, he took our 2 youngest sons. They were only about 4 and 5. And yes, God bless our baby, he fell asleep.
Oh, good on him.
One way to get him to sleep, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
I like this one from Rob on the text line. He says, the wife and I took a young son, well, he's 30 now, so that's how long it's been, to see the Wiggles at the entertainment centre. The overwhelming emotion of seeing things that until then were only on the television suddenly appearing in real life reduced him to a whimpering mess, and he hid under his seat.
It is overwhelming for him when they're like, hang on, what?
Adults dressed up as cartoon characters in real life is like a very reliable source of scaring the living daylights out of kids.
It is. They're always very funny videos, those ones you see from time to time.
Right.
Sort of birthday parties gone wrong, where someone dresses up as the Grinch.
Wags the dog or something
and
like
the
that.
kids get terrified. Yeah. Thank you for that, Di. You're in the running to win the Illuminate Adelaide tickets too. Keep your stories coming through. In the meantime, we're going to talk sport because Tom Wren's in the 5AA Breakfast studio. What the hell's happened to our cricket team? Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderall Garage Doors, gliderall.com.au. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Not good, is it? New look top order, and it is really struggling at the moment. So they won the toss in Barbados against the West Indies. Now, I know we lost to the Windies. Remember at the Gabba, that famous test match not that long ago where Shamar Joseph bowled them to a great win.
But the rest of that series wasn't competitive.
No, it wasn't. And the Aussies have been pretty good other than that, but they were well beaten in the World Test Championship against South Africa. And again, an opportunity, but Sam Constas, he made single figures, 3. Cam Green, who they're persisting with at number 3, he also made just 3. And Josh Inglis was also dismissed in single figures. This is how he was out.
That's in there. Shea Hope, he wants it. Should be taken. It's taken. Wicket for Jayden Seals. Another one falls for Australia. It's been all West Indies this morning.
And it stayed that way, that audio, thanks to Fox. All out for 180. Now, in reply, the Aussies have got 2 wickets, but the Windies are currently 2 for 40.
Are they good or are we really bad at the moment?
I think probably a bit more the Australians are struggling. Inexperienced, new top order, no Steve Smith in there, changing things around. It might be a bit of a period of transition, potentially.
We haven't really blooded anyone. Like, we haven't really had guys coming through as much as we could have if we hadn't just stuck doggedly to Labuschagne and Khawaja. I'm not saying we should have had a total clean out
Smith
years ago.
No,
those guys had been performing.
They had been.
Khawaja had been performing.
Yeah, I think it's time. I think they should have made the call on Khawaja 18 months ago. I think it's long overdue. 38 years of age, he's lost it for mine. Look, he made 47 overnight, so he's actually one of the ones that can hold his head high. Trav Head made 59, so he top scored, but some issues there for sure, Will. And tonight, big game for Port, 4 changes. They've swung the axe. Jackson Mead is out, first time this year. Alir is back. That'll straighten them up. The Blues have also dropped 4 players. boy, whoever loses...
So much riding on it. It's
so
almost
much.
battle of the coaches in a way, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's the story.
Well, more so for Voss than for Ken. Nothing's going to change with Ken.
That's right, because we know what's happening, but huge game tonight, so we'll be covering that one.
Good on you, Reddy.
Thanks, boys.
Cheers, Tom.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A top of 15 today with the 6:30 news. Good morning, I'm Jade Robrin.
Chipped windscreen. RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
The state opposition is demanding urgent answers from the Malinauskas Labor government over what it calls a looming prison capacity crisis. With around 115 new prisoners entering the system each week, Shadow Minister for Correctional Services Jack Batty says the state could be just days from breaking point.
Yeah, overcrowded prisons are unsafe for correctional services officers, and they also don't support rehabilitation outcomes. And ultimately will become a risk to community safety. What is the government's plan for dangerous criminals if our prisons reach capacity?
A renewed $500,000 reward is being offered to help locate the remains of British backpacker Peter Falconio. The 28-year-old was murdered in the NT in 2001. His killer, Bradley John Murdoch, is now terminally ill but still refuses to review where Peter's body is. Channel 7 reporter Hannah Ford is in the Northern Territory and says Murdoch is remaining tight-lipped and still won't cooperate with police.
The last few days, we understand detectives have gone into his palliative care facility and tried again to re-interview him to see whether he will finally give it up. But if it's not him, they're hopeful that he's confided in someone.
Police are hunting the person or persons responsible for a dog napping east of the city. 3-year-old Alfredo, a Marima, was stolen from a backyard at Payneham early yesterday morning. There's CCTV footage of a woman in the area at the time and prior to the incident who may be able to assist police. She was driving a white Toyota Echo. A dog napping at Fullerton made headlines back in January. A cavoodle named Flossie was taken. She was later reunited with her owners. US officials will meet with an Iranian delegation next week for talks on Iran's nuclear program. Donald Trump is denying reports US strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities caused only moderate damage. He says because Iran's nuclear capabilities has been destroyed, the signing of a nuclear agreement isn't needed. And Donald Trump has hailed a commitment from NATO allies to raise defence and security spending to 5% of GDP as a monumental win for America and a big win for Western civilization. The BBC's Lucy Hocking is at The Hague.
This was a short summit designed with one thing in mind, to placate Donald Trump and to get the other NATO allies to sign up to what he wanted, which was for them to increase their defence spending. They've done that.
Donald Trump also held talks with Ukraine's president on the sidelines. He told Volodymyr Zelensky he would speak to Russia President Vladimir Putin to see if he could get him to end the war. Patients diagnosed with a rare blood cancer have just a 20% chance of survival. Acute myeloid leukemia can affect people of all ages and its symptoms can appear suddenly and progress rapidly. Leukemia Foundation Chief Executive Chris Tanti says too many Australians are falling victim.
The Leukemia Foundation's running a tax appeal at the moment trying to raise funds to invest in acute myeloid leukemia research. We would like to ensure that going forward in the future, people have a better chance of survival.
Music fans can get their hands on tickets to AC/DC's headline concert at the Supercars this morning. 4-day and Sunday general admission tickets for the BP Adelaide Grand Final will be available from 10 a.m. They're on sale via Ticketmaster. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jade. Let's start with cricket. Aussie fast bowler Mitchell Starc has put some life back into the tourists after a bad start to the Test match against the West Indies in Barbados. After winning the toss and electing to bat, the new look top order again failed to fire. Sam Constas, Cam Green and Josh Inglis were all out in single figures.
That's in there. Shea Hope, he wants it. Should be taken. It's taken. Wicket for Jaden Seals. Another one falls for Australia. It's been all West Indies this morning.
Yeah, unfortunately not good for the Aussies. That audio thanks to Fox. The Aussies were all out for only 180. In reply, Stark, though, has taken a couple of early wickets and the Windies are currently 2 for 42. Well, Port Adelaide has made 4 changes for tonight's big game against Carlton at home. They welcome back Aaliyah along with veteran Travis Boak, while Jackson Mead will miss his first game of the year after being dropped, along with Ryan Burton, Christian Moraes and Jeremy Finlayson. Blue skipper Patrick Cripps is set to play tonight against the Power, despite missing training yesterday due to illness. Billy Wilson and Flynn Young will debut for the Blues. Corey Durden, Mark Pittonet, Jackson Binns and Matt Carroll have all been dropped. The rest of the teams for round 16 will be released a little later tonight. And the NBA draft will be held a little later today. Dallas with pick number 1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
Bring your event to life in a venue where it all comes together. Search Adelaide Convention Centre.
Partly cloudy and 15 today, 16 and cloudy tomorrow, and mostly sunny for Saturday and 16. Right now, it's 9 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
23 minutes to 7, police and weather coming up very shortly. Also this half hour on 5AA Breakfast. In a moment, we're going to talk jetties because whilst this morning we're not talking about wind and rain, we're talking about the fallout from it because some of our regional councils have got big clean-up jobs to do. That's ahead. Also, this is starting to get nasty, this fight between the state government and Samoa, the doctors who went, and it wasn't on strike, it was a stop work meeting. Some of the nuances lost on me.
Well, it's going to be a full statewide strike on July 30.
That's right.
How's that going to affect patients?
Well, this is it. After 7...
Who else is getting a 30% pay rise at the moment? Anyone? No. It's absurd.
We do have this peculiar situation where there's a whole... I don't begrudge them this. They're hugely important and required. But there's something out of balance or unsustainable about a scenario where people sustained by taxpayers who aren't getting a 30% pay rise are expecting a 30% pay rise. And it's just not the doctors. There seems to be this sort of negotiation with the government thing that seems that where you can make these kind of claims with a view that there's this bottomless pit of money that it's all going to be drawn from.
One of the other things too about this union is it seems quite pig-headed and thinks that its members should be somehow protected from ever having to work on the weekends. So what this means is that if you're stuck in hospital over the weekend, you can't get discharged. And logic would tell you that more people are likely to be hospitalised on Saturdays in particular because of sport, because of people doing stuff around the house.
It's all right. We've got a huge oversupply of hospital beds, so it's not going to be an issue whatsoever.
Out partying. So you've got grog, you've got sport, you've got home hero handymen who don't read the instructions. Those three things tend to add to hospital presentations. And the union thinks, unlike the coppers, unlike the nurses, unlike anybody else that has got some God-given right to say, we don't like working on the weekends and we want an extra 30%. Well, that's a bit rich. We've got the union coming on after 7.
Yeah, we'll talk to them then. Let's head to the Kingston District Council. Mayor Jeff Pope joins us on 5AA Breakfast. We'll get Daryl Houston from the Yankalilla District Council in a moment. They've got something in common when it comes to dealing with the aftermath of storms. Mayor Jeff Pope, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to all your listeners.
Thanks for joining us, Mayor. The Kingston jetty, absolutely beautiful. How badly damaged is it, though? From the photographs I saw on the Tysers website yesterday, it looks pretty bad.
You would think it's a write-off. Talking to Ian, the CEO, yesterday, he said if you had a car that looked like that, you'd write it off. It's a mess. There's a little bit hanging out the end, probably about 20 metres on the beach side, but all the rest of it's just all piles and straggly timber, and the light that was on the end of the jetty's in on the beach, and she's gone.
So, Jeff, for us city types who don't have the honour of living just down the road from Larry the Lobster, what role does the jetty play in Kingston? Because it's not just a recreational jetty, is it? It's part of your economy.
It is part of our economy, and you know the figures are staggering. what we've gained out of counter data, there's 80,000 people on the jetty annually, which is quite amazing. It's nearly unbelievable. And it was identified, the LGA did the Values of Jetty report in 2024, and it came up as one of the most visited jetties in South Australia. So it's across the board. Visitors, locals, such a valuable part of it, and such a favourite too. Like people just put that on top of the list. So,
Jeff, is it entirely on the council and the ratepayers to fix it up, or is there a sort of a joint funding arrangement with state government?
Oh, we're tied up like other jetties around South Australia. It is under a lease, and we have been offered, I think it was 2.8 million, but we didn't want the Band-Aid approach, so we've been trying to work out whether the land part, because as you probably realise, there's the movement of the beach. Not all the jetty was out in the water. So the part that's over the land now, because of the sand movement, if we can do something different there, we can probably save a lot of money. So we've been working through that project, but a month ago that storm hit. Then a week later, another smaller storm. We had an assessment done on that as to damage. And now, it's written off. It is insured by the government, so we've got to work our way through that as well. So we've got that partial grant, or that grant money sitting there that's obviously not enough, but just what's the insurance going to do? Is it going to be written off? So we've got a few things to work our way through, but we want to be able to fix it up. That's certainly our aim. But I guess one thing for sure, we've got to go to public consultation again, but I would think that our public would overwhelmingly want it repaired or fixed, that's for sure.
All right, thank you. That's Mayor Jeff Pope from the Kingston District Council. Let's head over to the Yankalilla District Council. Daryl Houston is on the line. Does that all ring true for you too, Daryl?
Very much so, yes. Unfortunately, our jetty was also damaged in the storm last month, and it's been closed since that time. And, of course, it sustained further damage yesterday or the day before, and we've lost about 4 metres at the end of the jetty, have basically dropped into the sea. So it's fairly devastating, yeah.
So, Daryl, we're talking here about the jetty in Normanville. Have you got challenges with other jetties in your council area? Like, are you guys responsible for Rapid Bay as well?
No, so Rapid Bay is actually totally controlled by DIP. It's not a council leased one. So we, as a council, we only have Second Valley, and we have Normanville.
Right.
Two that are leased. The Rapid Bay one is totally controlled and under the care of DIP.
Okay. So the Normanville jetty, I mean, this is a holiday haven, so many retirees, all the recreational fishers. Like, this is a hugely important part of life in Normanville, yeah?
Absolutely. And, well, the LGA did a lot of work just recently in the last 12 months to show the value of jetties all around our coastline. And, people in the city come down out into the country, enjoy the jetties, enjoy the beaches. So it's a valuable asset to our communities, much loved by the community, obviously. People just love getting out on a jetty over the sea in the regions, for sure.
Well, thank you for that, Mayor. Mayor Jeff Pope from Kingston, and just now Mayor Daryl Houston from Yankalilla as well.
Adrian Peterick, the Shadow Minister for Marine Infrastructure, has called in. Adrian, what do you make of the dilemma that now befalls these two councils?
Well, look, good morning, Will and Dave, and what a dilemma. I've never seen anything like it, quite, with the destruction to the Kingston jetty. And I talked to both Jeff and Daryl yesterday, and it looks like Kingston is a write-off, just at the initial view from what you can see online. And certainly with Yankalilla lost 4 metres off the end. Look, jetties are valuable assets to any community. And look, I would just urge Premier Malinauskas and Minister Kusantonis to work cooperatively with these two councils to make sure that we can get these assets up and running again properly, because, look, jetties add so many hundreds of millions of dollars right across the state to the economic outlook, with recreational fishing. They're used as commercial points in some jetties around the state, but certainly these are very beautiful parts of the world, whether it's Kingston and Yankalilla, and I just hope that we have meaningful conversations between the government and these local councils, because there's going to need significant millions of dollars to get both of these jetties up to speed, and also to acknowledge Robe Jetty took a hit as well. And certainly it's a bit of a side effect of getting rain. Sadly, We seem like we need to get some wind at times, but there has been massive destruction to this infrastructure across the coast.
It's an important issue, and thanks for calling in, Adrian Petterick, the member for Hammond, the Shadow Minister for Marine Infrastructure. We have pointed a call to the Infrastructure Minister, Transport Infrastructure Minister, Tom Koutsantonis' office this morning as well, just to get a clearer picture of how the repair and maybe full rebuild of at least one of these jetties is going to take place. We're happy to take your calls on that as well. If you're in the local area, 0480 08 1395 or 8223 0000. I have to read this text out. Will from Goodwood. I did get a chuckle out of this as we talk about the stories of taking kids to concerts. So many parents will be taking their kids to the Katy Perry concert tonight. Will in Goodwood had an educational night. He says, my wife said she was getting 3 tickets to a One Direction concert for our then 5 and 8-year-old girls. Unbeknown to me, the whole time her intention was for me to take them, which she revealed to me an hour before the show started. After sitting through 40,000 kids screaming for 2 hours, the last straw was when the eldest spotted a young girl in the front row and asked me what her massive sign meant. The sign said, "I'm 18 and legal." We all learned a lot that night. Will in Goodwood, oh my God, that gets the Illuminate tickets if Will had called in.
Yeah.
We do have Illuminate tickets for stories of taking kids to concerts, whether you liked it or did it, well, without even knowing you were going to, like poor old Will in Goodwood had to do. What a great story. We're going to check traffic. We'll come back with police and weather. We'll give away those tickets in just a moment as well. Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial residential property management, lynnandrews.com.au.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. At Para Hills, a crash to look out for, Bridge Road near McIntyre Road. Night works running behind schedule this morning in Camden Park at the intersection of Anzac Highway and Morford Road. Busy intersection anyway, so look out for that. And a bit slow at the moment too for works at O'Halloran Hill, Southern Express, Winnie Majors Road, speeds at 80. Cameras, Cavan Road, Dry Creek and Lockside Drive at West Lakes today. Heading the road, grab a barista-made coffee or something on the go while you fuel up a Cello TR and pay it in full with Afterpay. T's and C's apply. Australian credit licence 527911. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
You really do have a shot at this. The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is selling now. You could win the new $3 million Scott Salisbury Grand Prize Home. With over 11,000 more prizes, you have a 1 in 15 chance of winning. Is it your turn for a life-changing win? Tickets selling now at homelottery.com.au. Life-changing prizes, life-changing impact. homelottery.com.au. Licence M14727.
Remember the last time you had stomach pain? Now imagine having that pain all day, every day. Around 1 in 5 people, yes, 1 in 5, suffer from constant and debilitating abdominal pain from forms of irritable bowel syndrome and endometriosis. Thankfully, SAMRI are finding ways to block the pain, and you can play a part in their research simply with a donation. Give and take the pain away at samri.org.au.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated, because it's personal.
Come and celebrate the grand opening of Flagstaff Hill Golf Club on Saturday, June 28th. The fun kicks off from 12 noon to 4 p.m. with virtual golf, mini golf and plenty of kids' entertainment to keep the little ones smiling. Relax and enjoy great food and drinks in The Club, our brand new restaurant and alfresco area. Flagstaff Hill Golf Club grand opening, Saturday, June 28th from 12 noon to 4 p.m. For more information, visit fhgc.com.au.
Hi, it's Wayne Phillips. If you're in the market for a new ute, SUV or van before the end of the financial year, you must come and see us at the award-winning Wayne Phillips Ford. We've got a huge range of Ford Rangers, Everest and Transit custom vans in stock and ready to go. Come in and see us for an unbeatable deal with savings so good, you'll have to see them for yourself. We won't be beaten on price. So for the best deal on a new Ford, drop in and see us now at Wayne Phillips Ford, Christie's Beach.
Wayne Phillips Ford.
Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 minutes to 7. We've been talking a bit about the inclement weather and what it's meant for regional jetties. It's just cold weather at the moment, I think, for the next few days. Let's find out. Simon Timke on duty at the Weather Bureau. Morning to you, Simon.
Morning, Will. Morning, David.
So we're not going to quite get the excitement of the earlier part of the week, it looks like.
No, things have certainly calmed down in that regard. We've got a high-pressure system centred near Junior, extending a ridge over the south of the state, giving us generally light winds and not too much in the way of weather either. It should be mostly dry, I think, in Adelaide today. Looking at the radar at the moment, there's a couple of light showers out over the Gulf, but they're moving towards the north, so pretty low risk of seeing any of that over the Adelaide area. Maybe the slight chance of a light shower about the hills a little bit later, but generally speaking, very little in the way of showers today. Maybe a little bit of patchy fog to start off with this morning, mostly about the hills, I think, and partly cloudy conditions during the day. Temperature-wise, we've had an overnight minimum of 7.7 degrees at about 10 past 5 this morning, currently sitting on 8.1 degrees in the city at the moment and expecting a maximum of 15 degrees, 15 as well for Elizabeth, Glenelg and Noarlunga, 13 degrees for Mount Barker today. Pretty similar day on the way for Friday, partly cloudy with, again, a chance of a little bit of fog around the hills and light winds. 16 degrees tomorrow after an overnight minimum of 8. And then a mostly sunny day on the way for Saturday, a little bit colder in the morning, down to 6 overnight, a maximum of 15. Light winds again, and those light winds continuing into Sunday, but we might see a shower or two. There's a just little cold front moving across, which won't produce conditions as windy as earlier in the week, but might bring a shower or two. Down to 6 again for Sunday morning, 15 degrees the maximum. Into the early part of next week, just a slight chance of a shower here or there, but mostly dry. 15 degrees for Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday next week.
Good stuff, Simon. Thanks for that. Simon Timke from the Weather Bureau.
All right, let's head to Sapole. Senior Constable Matt Brown's on the line. Matt, a truck crash at the Sturt Highway at Kingsford.
That's right. Good morning, guys. Two trucks collided about 6:45 p.m. last night on the Sturt Highway near Argent Road at Kingsford, just northeast of Gawler in the Barossa Valley. Unfortunately, there were no serious injuries, and one driver was taken to hospital by ambulance with non-life-threatening injuries. And one of the truck's cabins became dislodged from the prime mover in the collision. It was blocking northbound traffic for a short time, but fortunately a heavy vehicle tow truck happened to be in the area and assisted to move the cabin from the road to help start to clear the highway. And thanks to the driver's initiative, police were able to establish a flow of traffic, and the roads have since reopened, but investigations into the crash are ongoing. So anyone who may have witnessed it or may have captured the crash on dashcam footage is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333 000.
Matt, a drink driver's been caught way over the limit in the city overnight.
Yeah, this one's a bit of a quirky one, Dave. Just after midnight this morning, actually, police observed a Mazda SUV stationary at the intersection of King William Street and North Terrace. And police first recognised that something was a bit amiss when the car was indicating to turn right at a no right turn signal, and the green light was showing, and the green light went from yellow to red, and the car didn't move at all. So police stopped the car and got the man out of the vehicle, and then they conveyed him to the Hindley Street Police Station for a breath test, where he thought it would be a good idea to run away from the police, but then he realised that he was more than 6 times the legal limit. And once police caught up to him again and took him back to the station, he blew .304 on the breath analysis instrument. And the man has since been charged for multiple traffic offences, including driving under the influence, drive with excess blood alcohol, drive disqualified, and drive unregistered motor vehicle. So he will appear in court at a later date.
And just lastly, Matt, we don't do too many stolen dogs because, I mean, who would have the heart? But Alfredo has been stolen.
That's right. Poor Alfredo. But police are seeking assistance from the public to locate a 3-year-old white Maremma sheepdog who was dog-napped from an eastern suburb's backyard in the early hours of Tuesday morning. Just after midnight on Tuesday, the 24th of June, a 3-year-old Maremma sheepdog was stolen from a home on Ashbrook Avenue at Paynham. Now, CCTV has captured a woman in the area at the time, and there is a picture of her and also Alfredo, the dog. So get on our Facebook page and check both of them out. And if you recognise the woman or have information on where Alfredo, the dog, is, please call Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333 000.
Gosh, imagine pinching someone's dog.
You'd think, too, apart from the emotional trauma, it's quite expensive, too, because a dog like that would cost you quite a lot of money.
I would have thought. Thank you for that, Matt. Senior Constable Matt Brown from SAPOL. Let's head to Victoria. Estelle Griepink is the 7 News court reporter there who has been doing some really important work covering the mushroom murder trial. We just want to get a bit of an update of what the state of play is as we speak. Estelle, good morning to you.
Morning, guys. How you going?
We're good, thanks, Estelle. So how many weeks has it been now, and how confident are you that it's actually going to wrap up today?
So we're in week 9. I just want to remind everyone this was estimated to go for 6 weeks.
Is that a record, Estelle?
Look, I personally have never covered such a long trial, but I guess we've got to remember that this trial has a lot of parts to it. You know, it's 3 charges of murder and 1 of attempted murder, so there is a lot of evidence to get through. But this week we are in the stage of the judge's charge or his final directions to the jury. And we were even initially told that this charge might go for about 2 days. It's now looking like it will continue into today and that the jury won't even be sent out to deliberate this afternoon. So the earliest that they could go out and start talking about a verdict would be tomorrow or Monday. So if it gets to Monday, that's getting into week 10.
So for these jurors, they're totally cooped up the whole time, aren't they? Like they have to... Are they allowed to stay with their families, or have they effectively sort of been herded off into some hotel for the last 9 weeks?
Look, they're not in the hotel yet. They will be sequestered into a hotel once deliberations start, and I think that's something that's probably playing on their mind a lot because they are spending from 10:30 to about 4 every day sitting in this jury box. I think even earlier in the week, the judge sort of was a bit jovial and he said, look, guys, just want to give you an update. Don't need to bring your toothbrushes in tomorrow. So that's how he's kind of been hinting to them, you know, you've got another day at home, but the time that you're going to be herded into the hotel is coming.
Wow.
Do you, as court reporters, still ever do any sort of jury whispering? Have you ever got a firm bead on whether when they retire for a long time or a short time, it tells you anything about the way in which they're leaning?
Oh, never. I mean, we're really warned at the start of every trial to really avoid any juror, not speak to them. If we see them coming, almost go the other way.
Sure. No, sorry, I didn't mean quite literally whispering. I sort of meant interpreting the length of time at which they retire, having covered lots of trials. Does it sort of tend to indicate one thing or another if it's a long time or a short time?
I think it's really hard, and obviously it's something that a lot of the reporters down here, we speculate about on the daily. How long do you think it will take? And interestingly, the only communications you'll ever get from the court is if a verdict comes back or if the jury come back for a question. I think if they come back for a question during the deliberations, that can sometimes hint, this might take a while because they must be in that room sort of nutting it out, you know, people not agreeing. But it's kind of like how long is a piece of string?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
9 weeks. I can't think of a trial that's gone longer.
That's amazing.
Thank you for that, Estelle. Estelle Griepink there for 7 News at the courthouse in Victoria. The case I remember that caught all the media, the entire news media locally on the hop, was in the mid-90s, the war crimes trial against Ivan Polyukovich. The jury retired and all the journos were at the court, at the Supreme Court, and they all went off to Mummagettas and Lucia's to get coffees and that. And the jury came back, I think it was about 15 minutes, and everyone had left. And the foreman stood up and said, we find him not guilty.
You're kidding?
And Polyukovich left, and people didn't get vision, they didn't get photographs.
15 minutes?
Yeah. They just straight away said, this guy, on the evidence before the court and the historic time lag, the jury just went, we're not buying it. And none of the journos were there. It was crazy.
That's extraordinary. It's coming up to 7 o'clock, 5AA News on the way. On the other side of the break, we'll be chatting with Bernadette Mulholland from SASMO with regard to their threat for a full-day strike on July 30th if their claim for a 30% pay rise isn't met. Also, the first application of Sophia's law. Remember Sophia Naismith, who was hit by the Lamborghini, and the law was changed because of how that case was dealt with. Or the absence of laws to appropriately deal with it in the eyes of many of our listeners. Well, how does that play out? What does that mean now? We'll talk about that after 7 o'clock.
5AA Breakfast.
The news and information that matters.
The all-electric Kia EV3. Crowned the 2025 World Car of the Year. Awarded for its record 604 kilometres of all-electric range and fast-charging capabilities. The Kia EV3 is your 2025 World Car of the Year. Visit kia.com.au to find out more.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Harvey Norman clearance ends Monday.
The top of 15 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Jade Robran.
Make RAA-approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
A drink driver has been caught behind the wheel 6 times over the limit in the CBD early this morning. Senior Constable Matt Brown says the man blew .304.
The man has since been charged for multiple traffic offences, including driving under the influence, drive with excess blood alcohol, drive disqualified and drive unregistered motor vehicle.
The state opposition is calling for urgent action from the Malinauskas government amid warning South Australia's prisons are nearing full capacity. Shadow Correctional Services Minister Jack Batty says with an average of 115 new inmates each week, the system could hit breaking point within days.
The whole system seems to be based on a precarious one in, one out model. There doesn't seem to be any plan if a handful more prisoners enter the system. And what I don't want to see is a situation where people are being let out on bail just because there's no room in jail.
The stoush between the state government and our doctors over a pay rise could result in a day-long strike next month. A series of stop works will kick in from July 21. The latest offer has fallen short of their push for a 20% increase over 3 years. Attorney General Kaya Ma says it's not tenable.
We are keen to make sure that doctors are paid well in South Australia and keen to make sure that there are fair pay rises, particularly to junior doctors.
There's growing optimism the Israel and Iran ceasefire will hold. Donald Trump says the US is expected to meet with Iran as early as next week. Former American Special Forces Commander Glenn Ignazio says the options for Iran are slimming.
Iran's leadership, both the IRGC and on the Khomeini side, they are in dire straits because there's a lot of upheaval inside. So I could see that negotiating is in their best interest right now, and I could see that happening. Not sure if it's going to be Trump directly.
Student debt for young Australians is now outpacing wage increases. The findings from the E61 Institute show a real wage rise of 6%, while HECS debt grew by 46% for those aged 30. Research economist Matthew Maltman says young Aussies are struggling.
We're seeing that young people are kind of not earning much more than young people that came before them. We're seeing that they're staying at home longer with their parents. We see that they have declining mental health and rising issues like problem gambling.
Katy Perry's world tour has finally arrived, with the pop star touching down in Adelaide. She'll play the first of 4 concerts at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Expect to hear all the big hits, including her Australian chart topper, Roar. And Simpsons fans around the world have been left devastated this morning. There's reports that the creators have killed off Marge. In a new episode set in the future, Lisa refers to her late mother, and Homer ends up in a nursing home in Florida. And now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jade. Australia's been bowled out for just 180 in the first test against the West Indies in Barbados. South Aussie Travis Head top scoring with 59, then Usman Khawaja with 47, while Pat Cummins chipped in with 29. But the Aussies have since hit back with the ball, Mitchell Starc making the opening breakthrough.
Outside edge farm and wicket. Very good catch. Third time dismissed now, Craig Brathwaite.
Yeah, that call there from ESPN, and currently the home side is 4 for 54. Starc with 2 wickets, while Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood each have 1. Well, Port Adelaide will do battle with Carlton tonight at Adelaide Oval. The Power have dropped Jackson Mead, who's played every game this season, and they've recalled star defender Alia along with veteran Travis Boak. You can, of course, hear all the action right here on 5AA. Well, the Matildas will embark on a new era tonight when they host Slovenia in a friendly in Perth. Joe Montemuro will coach the Tillies for the first time after being appointed earlier this month. Aussie boxer Liam Parrow has won his bout against Jonathan Navarro with a devastating stoppage. His American opponent couldn't come out for the 6th round, suffering a badly cut nose and suspected facial fracture. Liam Wilson claimed a unanimous points decision victory over Ayrton Jimenez. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Switch and save on your car service and repairs. Call 1300 Automasters.
Morning there at Power Hills, a crash, Bridge Road near McIntyre Road. Night works running behind schedule in Camden Park, Anzac Highway at Morford Road. Slow going as we speak at O'Halloran Hill, Southern Expressway near Majors Road for ongoing works. And getting busy right now, Main North Road at Enfield. Camera, Cavan Road, Dry Creek. The Amart end of financial year sale is on now. Save 20 to 60% off absolutely everything store-wide. T's and C's apply. Stores are open late tonight. Hurry into Amart. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Bring your event to life in a venue where it all comes together. Search Adelaide Convention Centre.
Partly cloudy and 15 today, 16 and cloudy tomorrow, and mostly sunny for Saturday and 15 degrees. Right now it's 8 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Look here, look a shorty got back. Should I ask her for a dance? Hold on, there's too many in the wolf pack.
The all-electric Kia EV3, crowned the 2025 World Car of the Year. Awarded for its record 604 kilometres of all-electric range and fast-charging capabilities. The Kia EV3 is your 2025 World Car of the Year. Visit kia.com.au to find out more.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Harvey Norman clearance ends Monday. Stores open until 9 tonight. Shop TVs, fridges, laptops, mobiles, furniture, bedding and more. Save up to 30% off Windows 11 computers. All the big brands on sale. Save $500 on Dreamy L40S Ultra Robot Vac and Mop. Now $1,497. Australian-made King Coil Conformer Element Queen Mattress, just $849. And save $160 on the Everdure Kiln Gas Pizza Oven. Now just $798. Harvey Norman clearance ends Monday. Stores open until 9 tonight. Trading hours may vary.
9 out of 10 people who are blind or vision impaired don't need to be. See Fred Hollow's Vision live on.
What did he say? He says we can see quite well.
Please donate today at hollows.org.
Every eye is an eye.
Since 1935, Resthaven has supported older South Australians. For more than 35 years, that support has also extended into people's homes, where comfort, dignity and independence matter most. Our caring staff and volunteers have enriched the lives of thousands of older South Australians and their carers. Thank you for putting your trust in Resthaven. If you or someone you love needs welcome support at home, we're here to help. Visit resthaven.asn.au. Celebrating 90 years.
In Adelaide and across South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Go on, just walk away. Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 up to 7 and good morning to you. Joining us for the first time on this Thursday, the 26th of June. Coming up this hour, you know the man, Matt Abraham will join us after 7:30. We'll dissect the spin of the week. We've got Fitzy's footy tips coming up a little bit later, so if you want to get your tips in, you can get your leads from Fitzy just before 9 o'clock. It was a lot of fun at Best of SA the other night.
You know, one of our listeners at Best of SA told Fitzy didn't know this, because Fitzy's not in an actual tipping comp. He does the tips, but he's not actually enrolled in a comp.
Yes.
One of our listeners was talking to Fitzy and said that he's following Fitzy's tips and he's winning. And Fitzy was going, why aren't I putting in the actual tips? I'm just doing it on air.
He's just doing it out of the goodness of his heart for you, our listeners.
He's on fire, though.
So hopefully he's winning a few comps out there at the moment. Ralph, in our first hour, won our competition for the Illuminate tickets with regard to his story about whenever you've taken your kids to a concert. With Katy Perry's first show on tonight, 1 to 4 at the Entertainment Centre. Celebrate art, light, music, food and technology at Illuminate Adelaide, SA's premier winter event, July 2nd to 20. Book now at illuminateadelaide.com. We've got another comp coming up in a moment with some movie tickets to give away. If you've got a story about an embarrassing pet name that is like a name for a loved one or lover,
Schnicky,
or a nickname, embarrassing nicknames. We'll tell you why in a moment. You have to stay listening to the news wrap. But we start with the stop work meeting that we crossed live to after 8:30 yesterday. 500 doctors who have now threatened a full-day strike on the 30th of July unless the state government agrees to a demand for a 30% pay rise over 3 years. Bernadette Mulholland from the SA Salaried Medical Officers Association joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Bernadette Mulholland, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I don't want to sound rude, Bernadette, but you guys are kidding yourselves, 30%, aren't you? That is off the charts.
Well, look, we have to look at a couple of things, don't we? In terms of real wages, and I've said this quite often, we have suffered a loss over this government's reign of about 13 to 14%. We've had increased cost of living and increased inflation. We know that they gave the Police Association between 11 and 19% for 1 year and didn't have to do any enterprise bargaining on reflection of retaining police officers here. We're happy to sit down, and we've talked to the government, and we're really pleased to hear the Attorney General say on air yesterday that they're prepared to now increase the dollar amount to trainee medical officers. But we're yet to sit down with this state government negotiators and understand what would be a better proposal than the 10, 10 and 10. There are lots of things that are in our enterprise agreement, including workforce planning, including fatigue and burnout measures. I was incredibly disappointed to hear the Attorney General and to read in the paper today about fixed hours and doctors not working on the weekend.
Well, why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't your members have to work on the weekend?
And that's what I was coming to. Our doctors work on the weekend, and what's actually going to frustrate our doctors even more is this commentary that our senior doctors don't work on weekends. We even checked that with the negotiators, the government's own negotiators. They acknowledge that all our senior doctors work on the weekends.
But do enough of them work on the weekends because there's a bottleneck with patients being discharged?
Absolutely. Enough of them work on the weekends. They are all rostered to work on the weekends. And what I'm a little bit unclear about is what the problem actually are, because we haven't sat down. We only received the state government's request for a clause for fixed hours a week ago. And it was silly. It was just outrightly silly. They only want it for specific areas of the health system. And to suggest today, as I read, that flow is impacted because senior doctors aren't working on the weekend is ludicrous. They do enormous amounts of work out of hours, unpaid, on the weekends for the public hospital system. And I'm now really worried that this is going to put off our doctors contributing in the manner that they do because they're not appreciated.
Bernadette, I want to take you back to something you said at the start with regard to how much money your doctors are out of pocket under the life of this government. I was just trying to reverse engineer that calculation, and it sounds to me like what you've done is simply multiplied the rate of inflation by the previous years of your EBA, in which case you're not actually out of pocket any more than any other South Australian, are you?
No, but this is a system that we're actually working
right.
with. So
I get that. So I just want to ask you this then. Over the course of future EBA negotiations, would you be happy for future pay increases to be tied to the rate of inflation we're likely to have for the next 3 years?
Can I even step you back? That is exactly what we did in the last enterprise agreement. That is exactly what we did. Our doctors accepted 1.5% increase for their annual salary over 3 years. We were very accepting of that. But what no one understood was what was about to happen in the increases of inflation and cost of living. And so we recognised that. We built it into the wage increases. We've seen a reduction in pay for our trainee medical officers. We've seen that we're not competing with other states. So to say that we don't look at it, but that we don't understand what we need to do is just not true.
I don't want to get too class war about this, Bernadette, but the Treasurer, Steve Mulligan, was on our show yesterday. He said that the actual pay rise you are asking for, the pay rise itself, if you get your 30%, for some of your members, the pay rise alone would amount to $260,000 for an individual doctor.
And we talked to our members yesterday about some of the figures that are coming out from the government regarding our senior specialists. We accept that some of those doctors are paid well. A very small majority of them are paid well. And why do we pay them well? To attract and retain them here in this state so that we can bring care closer to home and that people don't have to travel to the eastern seaboard. So there are many more doctors from a very junior level and moving forward that aren't being recognised and aren't being paid and aren't being valued for their contribution to the public health system.
But isn't, by definition, when you're a junior, you're coming up through the ranks? I mean, you don't need to be paid exorbitantly from the get-go.
Certainly, but you want to be competitive so that you can attract those trainees here to this state. What will happen? What will happen if we don't have a long-term plan about pay and conditions for our trainee medical officers is that they'll go elsewhere. We heard stories yesterday that 5 trainee medical officers had the choice between coming to South Australia and going to the eastern seaboard. They went to the eastern seaboard. And what we're going to see is a long tail of an inability to fill positions because we are not training those trainees, those junior doctors here locally. And that is going to be a problem for South Australia. We are happy to negotiate with this government about pay increases. We've said that over and over again. Sit down, talk to us. We were pleased to hear the Attorney-General say that he was going to increase the junior medical officers' rates for all levels. But there's a cost for trainee medical officers when they do their training. It is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars out of pocket. And coming back to your comment about we shouldn't be paying these trainees a lot of money, these trainees need and are being trained and supervised in surgery, in our emergency department, and to then turn on our senior doctors and say that they don't work on weekends is an outrageous statement to make to bring the community on side.
Well, it is a pay dispute, so, you know, you're going to have to win hearts and minds and battle those sorts of claims. And frankly, I don't know if you're reading the room that well. I mean, the coppers are getting 4% in 2025, 4% in 2026. I know that year 3 is yet to be negotiated, but, you know, the sob story that you're running, I don't think our listeners are buying it. And I really hope that you think long and hard about the impact that your July 30 strike action could have on patient care. Bernadette Mulholland from the SA Salaried Medical Officers Association, thank you.
One other thing we wanted to quickly touch on in the news wrap this morning was the first application of Sophia's Law. You might recall the horrific death of Sophia Naismith, the teenager who was in the wrong place at the wrong time when going to use the right language, don't we? A Lamborghini hit and killed her. The reason we have to be careful with the language is because it didn't, in the eyes of many of our listeners, the way in which the law worked didn't quite reflect how people felt about the case in the past. So a new law was brought in. Now, it has been applied to a case that was heard at the Adelaide Magistrates Court where Elizabeth Cranes, a 27-year-old, was found to have caused death by careless use of a vehicle on Wednesday. We are joined by James Marcus, a criminal barrister at Len King Chambers, just to tease this out a little bit. James, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
So Sophia's Law in simple language, what did it mean in a case like this in its first application, and how is that different to how things would have been in the absence of it?
So what Sophia's Law is a law that creates an offence of causing death by careless driving and applies to that in the ordinary course a maximum penalty of 5 years imprisonment and a mandatory licence disqualification. And so where that fits in is the old, prior to the introduction of these laws, there were 2 tiers of driving offences that cause death or harm, causing death or serious harm by dangerous driving and causing death through an offence called aggravated driving without due care. So in offence, careless driving. The maximum penalty for the dangerous driving offence was 15 years imprisonment for the basic offence, and for the driving without due care, it was up to 12 months imprisonment. And so what Sophia's Law did was bring in what might be described as an intermediate position between those two with the maximum penalty of 5 years imprisonment.
So, James, we've discussed this a lot with Sean Fuster. It felt like what was needed was a sort of middle category of offence that would give the courts an option of finding, some sort of middle ground, because a lot of these cases, causing death by dangerous driving, the courts just weren't going there.
Yeah, the difficulty with this case is this offence is unlike most other criminal offences. So most criminal offences consist of an act done with a state of mind. That is, you hit someone deliberately. That's an assault. You stole something dishonest, or you took something dishonestly. That's a theft. This offence has no mental element, no state of mind. It's just simply, if you drove dangerously, you are guilty, or if you drove carelessly, you are guilty. And often the trouble with this offence and why it is so often emotive is often it claims the lives of innocent people, as your preface said, just going about their business. And the trouble is as well, it's often committed, this offence, by people who never meant to harm anybody. And so you've got this issue of people who have done an act that probably most other motorists have done on the road that's led to extremely serious consequences with no intention to do so. And so that's why this matter is so emotive. But to answer your question, the difficulty here is what we're doing is we're criminalising careless driving, which has always been criminalised and could carry a maximum penalty of up to 12 months imprisonment, and the maximum penalty has now been raised to 5 years. And it is understandable that people, particularly in the case that gave rise to this, where Mr Campbell was driving in a way that the community, it appears, has taken umbrage with and claimed the life of a young lady. And it's understandable that that is a horrendous situation that shouldn't have happened. But by the same token, we need to be very careful about raising the maximum penalty of an offence that people can commit with no intention to do so. We're penalising the outcome more than the intent. And I do encourage people to actually read the judgment in that case, Queen and Campbell from 2022, where Judge Muscat explains in over 300 paragraphs why this offending was careless, not dangerous. But nonetheless, we didn't buy it. I read it, made me want to throw up.
James Marcus, thank you for joining us, criminal barrister at Len King Chambers on FIVEAA's Law.
We've got...
disgrace that. The way the law operated in that case was appalling.
And it was changed. We've got movie tickets to give away, a family pass. 8223 is the number. What we want to hear from you this morning is the embarrassing nickname you're willing to admit to that you use or receive. Okay, it could be for a loved one, it could be a footy club.
Will?
It could.
I vote Will goes first.
8223 is the number. Embarrassing nicknames. Why? Well, you might be across Mark Rutter, who is the head of NATO, is the NATO Secretary General.
Mark Rutter. Has Mark got a nickname, has he?
No, he used a nickname. He has a...
wouldn't Mark Rutter's nickname be redundant?
David, leave it alone. He sent Donald Trump a really fawning text that was somewhat embarrassing, really, about what a wonderful job he was doing. And then Trump tweeted it out to the whole world to see. And then they had this exchange.
They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
I think you have to join the House.
Yes, we're going to join some other group. Yeah.
Trump talking about swearing about Israel and Iran, and Mark Rutter said, yes, because Daddy had to use some language. And don't you think Trump had fun with that at his press conference afterwards?
Mark Rutter, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you Daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
So things are going well at NATO. These are all getting along. Your embarrassing nicknames. We'll send you to the movies. Let us know. 8223 You can text us on 0480081395 as well.
What a time to be alive.
In the meantime, we're going to check traffic. Enjoy your outdoor area all year round with an opening and closing roof designed, manufactured and installed by Luba House.
Morning there at Dulwich. Got a breakdown to look out for this morning at the intersection of Greenhill Road and Fullerton Road. Probably not the best place to break down, to be honest. Got a smash at Para Hills to look out for. Bridge Road near McIntyre Road. Road, and still got night works running late this morning at Camden Park, the intersection of Anzac Road and Morford Road, so she is pretty slow as we speak. Camera 2, trimmer parade at Seaton. Office works won't be beaten on tax time prices with their price beat guarantee. Shop online, in-store or via the app before June 30. Exclusions apply. Shop now at Officeworks. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Graham Goodings.
Dan Tehan has hit out at the Energy Minister, Chris Bowen, saying Chris Bowen has failed dismally as Australia's Energy Minister. He should apologise to the people for his gross incompetence. The Minister promised that by the end of this year, power bills would go down by $275. They will go up by up to $1,000.
Graham Goodings.
The Minister continues to fiddle while Rome burns.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Hi, I'm Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. This year, we're proud to be celebrating 40 years of doing real estate differently in South Australia. Since 1985, we've remained family-owned and fiercely independent, with innovation, integrity and people always at the heart of what we do. While the industry's changed, our values haven't, and we're incredibly grateful to our clients and community for their trust and support. Visit toop.com.au. Toop and Toop, 40 years of family, innovation and integrity.
Hi, it's Wayne Phillips. If you're in the market for a new ute, SUV or van before the end of the financial year, you must come and see us at the award-winning Wayne Phillips Ford. We've got a huge range of Ford Rangers, Everest and Transit custom vans in stock and ready to go. Come in and see us for an unbeatable deal with savings so good, you'll have to see them for yourself. We won't be beaten on price. So for the best deal on a new Ford, drop in and see us now at Wayne Phillips Ford, Christie's Beach.
It's the sale of the year at Derringer's Music. Starting out, getting back into it, or if you're a seasoned pro, Derringer's end of financial year sale is always a chart topper. Together with Yamaha, they have you covered for every aspect of making and enjoying music.
That's right. Pianos, acoustic and electric guitars, bass guitars, drums, amplifiers, PAs, even studio recording gear. Yamaha covers it all.
The end of financial year sale at Derringer's is the perfect excuse to scratch that musical itch. And remember, the Derringer's team is standing by to help you with the right advice and to point you in the right direction.
Don't miss Derringer's end of financial year sale on now. Derringer's and Yamaha, your local support act. Check out their website, derringers.com.au.
It all started in the back shed. Maybe it started early or late. Either way, the Olympic Industries sale means there's no need to wait. With big savings on our entire range of SA engineered sheds, garages, carports and verandas, you can afford to start something big, tough or tasty in your own backyard. Start something with the Olympic Industries sale. On now.
For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. Join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. Walco.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
28 after 7, Matt Abraham not too far away. We're talking embarrassing nicknames after the NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte referred to Donald Trump as Daddy earlier today. Marco Rubio's worth seeing in the background of the press conference where Donald Trump's asked about it. He can barely contain that. He's absolutely cacking himself. So we're asking you about embarrassing nicknames. We're going to give away some a Wallace family pass. Greg in Hallett Cove. Is it your nickname or someone else's?
Unfortunately, it's mine.
Yes.
Yeah. The name is Tossle.
Okay.
Tossle.
I hesitate to ask, but please expand.
It was an unfortunate accident in primary school where a teacher saw me naked and her comment was that I've got the cutest little tossle she's ever seen.
Oh, good. Okay. That's actually worse than I could have possibly imagined. Thank you, Greg. And more embarrassing than I could have possibly imagined. Frank in Birkenhead, good morning.
Good morning, Dave and Will. I used to hate this name. They used to call me Frankenfurter instead of Frank.
Oh, yeah, that's an obvious. It's low-hanging fruit, that one, isn't it?
From the Rocky Horror Show, mate.
Yes. I hated it.
And has it followed you into adult life, Frank? I think it was. Do you still get it today, Frank?
No, I don't. No, it was just at work. This guy used to always call me G'day, Frankenfurter.
I feel like we need to give Greg the family pass because as far as meeting the brief goes, a nickname you got from a teacher when you were naked as a small child that's still with you as what sounds like an adult.
There's a lot to unpack there. I'm just not sure if the statute of limitations has expired.
Greg, you got a Wallace Cinema pass coming your way for giving us exactly, unfortunately, what we asked for. 5AA News is coming up. Matt Abraham next.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
15 the top with the 7:30 news. Good morning, I'm Jade Robrin.
For the best price, quality and same-day service, trust Complete Windscreens. RAA approved, Main North Road, Prospect.
A drink driver has been caught behind the wheel in the Adelaide CBD early this morning, 6 times over the legal limit. Police escorted the driver to the Hindley Street Police Station for a breath test, but he ran away. Once police caught up with him, he returned a blood alcohol reading of 0.304. Senior Constable Matt Brown says the man's behaviour behind the wheel was a dead giveaway.
Police first recognised that something was a bit amiss when the car was indicating to turn right at a no right turn signal, and the green light was showing, and the green light went from yellow to red and the car didn't move at all.
Investigations are continuing this morning after 2 trucks collided just before 7 p.m. last night on the Sturt Highway near Argent Road in the Barossa Valley. Emergency services rushed to the scene where one man was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The US president is maintaining America's airstrikes on Iran did destroy the country's nuclear sites. Donald Trump denies early intelligence reports saying the attacks caused only moderate damage.
The site is obliterated, and we think everything nuclear is down there. They didn't take it out.
The US president says he's planning to meet with Iran as early as next week. A handful of Australians have arrived home after leaving Israel on the first repatriation flight arranged by the federal government. 118 Australians and 1 New Zealander were helped out of the war zone on an RAAF flight when the airspace reopened due to the ceasefire.
I'm still worried about my family in Israel, but I'm very happy to see my family here. I'm very happy to be back.
The Australian opposition is urging the federal government to increase its defence spending in line with our allies. Donald Trump has requested Australia increase its defence spending to 3.5% of the GDP as NATO nations agree to a 5% increase. Treasurer Jim Chalmers says Australia will remain stern at 2.3%. National Senator Bridget McKenzie has told Today it's simply not enough.
Lift it to at least 3.5% of GDP, but when you're looking at the percentage of GDP, that's almost a proxy for making sure you've got the right people and the right skill set to fight modern wars and be a deterrent to what are very real global threats.
New data confirms more parents are homeschooling their kids to protect them from bullies at school. Australia's largest online education provider says a quarter of families are signing up are doing it because of violence at school. The number of Australian students being homeschooled has climbed to a new record of more than 45,000 than last year. Dr. Zach Gregg from the Stand Up Project says sadly the stats aren't surprising.
More than 100,000 children stay home every single day because they're too scared to go to school. So I think in the short term it will certainly take them away from the danger that bullying presents, but it's certainly not a long-term solution.
Mexico's president has promised legal action to prevent debris from SpaceX rocket launches contaminating the country. Suspected rocket debris has washed up on the beaches south of the border with Texas, including a tank containing dangerous phosphorus. Officials are working out which international laws are being violated. Reports from the UK indicate Princess Kate was very fortunate to have survived cancer. Since announcing in January that her cancer is in remission, there are now reports the illness sent her to hell and back. An internal port was surgically fitted to administer the chemo treatment. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Hello, Tom Wren.
And to you as well, Jade. We're going to start with Cricket Australia's fought back hard on the opening day of the first test against the West Indies in Barbados. The Aussies won the toss and batted, but were dismissed for only 180. South Aussie Travis Head top scoring with 59, while Usman Khawaja made 47. In reply, though, the home side is also in trouble. They're 4 for 57 at stumps. Mitchell Starc taking a couple of wickets. Well, Port Adelaide has made 4 changes for tonight's round 16 clash against Carlton at home. The Power bring back Aaliyah, Travis Boak, Hugh Jackson and Logan Evans, while they've dropped Jackson Mead, Ryan Burton, Jeremy Finlayson and Christian Moraes. Let's stick with footy. Melbourne coach Simon Goodwin believes the AFL should follow the format of major US sports and introduce conferences and wildcard rounds for finals to create more interest throughout the season.
I'd love to see in conferences, with 18 teams, 3 conferences of 6 teams, top 2 go through and then you have a wildcard round. We need to create more success in our industry. At the moment we see one team as the pinnacle of that's it and everyone else fails. We can create more success in our industry, give more opportunity and bring more variety to our game.
Audio there thanks to Fox Footy. The Matildas will begin a 4-match friendly series tonight under new head coach Joe Montemuro. Vice captain Ellie Carpenter says the squad's looking forward to putting the new head coach's game plan together on the pitch.
Yeah, Joe's really experienced. Even the last 2 sessions, I think the girls really implemented that exciting football, which I think this team needs to get back to playing, and I think we're really going to thrive under Joe, and these 2 weeks is a great opportunity for us.
Yeah, let's hope so. Australia plays Slovenia twice before hosting Panama in the other games, one of which will be played in Bunbury on Saturday week. And Jade, that is the 5AA Sport.
Thanking you, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Switch and save on your car service and repairs. Call 1300 Automasters.
Morning there at Dulwich. Got a breakdown to look out for this morning at the intersection of Greenhill Road and Fullerton Road. Probably not the best place to break down, to be honest. We've got a smash at Para Hills to look out for, Bridge Road near McIntyre Road, and still got night works running late this morning at Camden Park, the intersection of Anzac Road and Morford Road, so she is pretty slow as we speak. Camera 2, Trimmer Parade at Seaton. Office works won't be beaten on tax time prices with their price beat guarantee. Shop online, in-store or via the app before June 30. Exclusions apply. Shop now at Officeworks. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Bring your event to life in a venue where it all comes together. Search Adelaide Convention Centre.
Partly cloudy and 15 today, 16 and cloudy tomorrow, and mostly sunny for Saturday and 15 degrees. Right now, though, it is 7 degrees on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
The Advertiser Sale of the Year is now on. Don't miss out on a year of unlimited digital news at our best price. But be quick, this sale is for a limited time only. Visit advertiser.com.au. New customers only. T's and C's apply.
Investigative journalist Denham Hitchcock and award-winning journalist Amelia Brace are putting the truth first when they bring you 10 News Plus at 6. And it all starts Monday. After 10 News at 5.
Just call Ken Hall. We'll be there anytime at all. Just call Ken Hall. Just call Ken Hall. If there's a job to be done, Ken is the one. Just call Ken Hall. Plumbing, air or electrical, is there anything you need? Ken's the one who can get things done, and it's always guaranteed. Just call Ken Hall.
Don't miss the Cheapest Chips Chippy Rewards Super Sale this weekend.
Cheapest Chips.
Members get 20% off gardening, excluding garden maintenance. So sign up and start saving. Offer ends this Sunday. Live cheaper at the Chippy Rewards Super Sale at Cheapest Chips.
Why are we here? What is the nature of reality? Do I really need all that data to listen to history podcasts?
Huzzah! Question everything.
Especially your telco plan. Get the data you need at low prices with Aldi Mobile.
Some people wake to an alarm, others to the sound of birds chirping. The lucky ones, they wake to this. Because they chose Flagstaff Hill Retirement Village by Living Choice, where luxury living meets premium resort-style activities and amenities, including a heated indoor magnesium pool, fully equipped gym, wellness centre, surround sound cinema, and the bonus of living next door to the Flagstaff Hill Golf Club. When it comes to retirement, make your choice livingchoice.com.au.
Hi, Pretty Bit here for Mawson Lakes Mazda. With all the end of financial year deals we've got going, you really should be here too. All makes, models and colours are being cleared, no exceptions. And there's a huge range of low-K demos, all ready for immediate delivery. Plus, you'll get free on roads, free stamp duty, free 12-month rego, and $500 worth of accessories. No gimmicks, just great deals. Mawson Lakes Mazda, Salisbury Highway, T's and C's apply.
Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
What was, I'm bugging.
This is Democracy Manifest.
They're eating the dogs.
I tell you what, any boss who sacks anyone for not turning up to die is a bum.
Mats.
Love Thursday mornings, especially Thursday night footies on the night. The weekend's just around the corner. And Matt Abraham is in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. Good morning to you, Matt.
Good morning now. I've been practicing this all week to get it right. Good morning, Will and David.
Oh!
What's in the name? Should we get called Jane, Mark and Pembo when you're at the ABC?
So nice to know how the indelible mark you left on the brains of politicians in South Australia.
Mate, you should wear it like a badge of honour, and a deserved one, because you were at the top of your game for a long time. Yeah. You're like the radio equivalent of the Clipsal.
That's right.
It hasn't been the Clipsal for years, and everyone thinks it's still Matt and Dave.
I think they were all so scared of going on with you guys that even those that weren't in politics at the time are still somehow scarred from it.
Yeah, that's right.
They sit around. You think you've got it tough with Will and David. Let me tell you. That sunny morning back in 72.
That's
anyway,
right.
They have got it tough.
Kevin Foley.
Kevin Foley.
That was your PB. That was your Opus Magnus.
Yeah, we that complaint ran for about 2 years. Kevin Foley complaint.
Not here to make friends.
And I still think we were right.
Oh. Okay. It's a big hello to ACMA.
Well, actually, should I say this? Mark Scott, who I thought was a terrific CEO of the ABC, when we had that ruling against us over I can't even remember what it was about anymore. It was about something to do with Kevin Foley. The ABC defended it very vigorously. It didn't cost them $1.1 million, by the way. But when they found against us, they just said, we note the finding. And it shows you the power of words in all these sorts of things, because what the authority, and I won't name them particularly, but I think it was ACMA, what they wanted was the ABC accepts the finding.
Mm.
And that would have been a bit, we wouldn't have been happy with that, as broadcasters, because they defended it. So if you defend something, through a process, if you're an employer, do you then say you accept the finding, or you just say we note the finding? Funny, isn't it? Little words in like politics and in business and in the law carry a lot of weight.
Note's got a innately grudging quality to it, hasn't it?
That's right. We know that.
It happened.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
You would have noted the poll last weekend.
I did.
Matt.
This is quite an extraordinary poll. The ALP, this is the YouGov poll in the Advertiser. It's the first poll. We've had two by-elections, which are effectively the best poll you can have, because they give you the results. So that was in Dunstan and Black, and we know Labor Party won those off the Liberal, both of them historic wins in by-elections. But this poll shows the ALP's primary vote. This is before preferences and all that sort of stuff. This is your base primary vote. And keep in mind that federally, both Labor and Liberals' primary vote is like low to mid 30% after the last federal election. I think it's about 34%. In other words, a third of people, well, 2/3 of people didn't want Labor in, and 2/3 of people didn't want Liberal Party in. So the Labor primary vote is 48%. So it's almost a half. You know, if you get over 50% and you're in a seat, you don't have to go to preferences. You walk it in. So 48%. The Liberal primary vote is 21%. 21%.
It's only 7 points ahead of the Greens.
Yeah, Greens are 14. You know, obviously, and you add the Green vote largely to the Labor vote, as we'll come to in a moment. One Nation's 7, and then there's independent candidates 8. Who knows who they are? So that primary vote's up 8% from the 2022 election, last election, which was pretty, you could describe it as sort of an unexpected landslide. And the Liberal vote's down 15% since the last election. So let's go to two-party preferred, 67 to 33%. 67% Labor. And what's, to me, really compelling, okay, Labor does very well with young people. So if you look at the 18 to 24-year-olds, it's 52%, 14 to Liberals. 25 to 34, 49%, 16 to Liberals. But go to the 55 plus, the grumpy old men and women, normally Conservative voters. 55 to the ALP. So
Mally's approval rating in that same category, in over 65s and also in country voters, his approval rating as Premier is 69% or above.
It's extraordinary.
With old men and country people, normally the bedrock of support for the Liberal Party.
And that's right. And this is, by the way, metro and regions, and this is very unusual. The vote's basically the same, 48% for Labor, both in the metro and in the regions. And so that reflects in the preferred Premier thing. And only 27 in the regions for the Liberal Party. So that should be there. If they're going to have a strong vote, it's going to be in the regions. So imagine, and in the metropolitan area is 18%.
Imagine you're a Liberal Party strategist, Matt, or a Liberal Party room member, sitting there, after another draining question time, sitting up the back, one of those green leather chairs. Are you in the Will Goodings camp, which is we have to act, we have to move against Tarzan now as a matter of urgency? Or are you, as I was saying the other day, no point changing now, you're just going to cruel another potential future leader?
Well, I'm in Will's camp on this one. Because what do you do if you're going to get hit by a bus? Do you just say, well, wait a minute, I'll just get run over by the bus and then someone will come in and pick it up, but that person's squashed flat? Or do you somehow push the person out of the way of the bus or push the party out of the way of the bus? The potential, okay, and we all say, Ben Hood, who doesn't have a seat in the lower house yet, Ashton Hearn, maybe Jack Batty, these people, the next generation in a way. What will be left if they go on their current trajectory, and if this poll's borne out in a few months' time in the March election, so I don't know, about 6-7 months' time, if this poll's borne out, what's left to pick up as a new Liberal leader?
What
are you going to form a party of 2 seats or 3 seats?
It could be worse than that. If your plan is keep my powder dry until after the next election, your powder may have been blown away by the time you get to the day after the March election.
Exactly.
You might not be in politics anymore.
That's right. You may not have a seat. On these figures, there won't be a Liberal metropolitan seat. There won't be many Liberal country seats either, rural seats. So what are you saving? I'm keeping my powder dry to lead a party. I may not be here to lead the party, but let's say I somehow survive. I'm keeping my powder dry to lead a party of 2. And which is what the WA Liberals, West Australian Liberals, faced.
So that will mean using what I now call like Duckworth Lewis, the Abraham Goodings rule. Peter Malinowskis will face his 4th Liberal leader in less than 1 term.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doesn't that just invite
has he got notches on his belt?
Voter ridicule? Where and like if they did change, that seems to be on the cusp of an election. The thing that I think where your plan falls down is it gives Labor a huge chance to just sort of laugh behind their hands about it, and the voting public will go, crikey, who are we up to now?
Well, I think we're at the point of the discussion where you have to start thinking, and I don't know what the answer to this is, Matt. Maybe you've seen some version of modelling on this before. But there's got to be a natural voter floor, right? What's the minimum number of people that will vote Liberal in any election? That's just because that's just what they do. And are we fast approaching that point in this poll? Because if that's the case, there is nothing to lose. And I actually think we're dangerously close to that. The Liberal Party's dangerously close to that point where the ones that are left are the ones that aren't going to ever change. The challenge is winning back those that have gone over the other side now. So I actually don't think there's any risk.
The last time the Liberals that I can remember was spooked by a poll and had a leadership change was when Dean Brown was Premier, and he was a very popular Premier, had a huge election win on the back of State Bank and all that sort of kit and caboodle. John Olsen and his supporters, certainly John Olsen's supporters, we'll use the nice terminology here, there was one bad poll for Dean Brown, and on the basis of that, they destabilised and rolled him. Now, that was a disaster for the Liberals. You know, that what should have been sort of 3 or 4 term government became 1 term majority government, then became a minority government. But I regard that as different because that was a leadership change driven by just pure ambition. This
and payback.
And payback. There's all sorts of, the Hatfield and McCoy sort of thing going on, which crippled the Liberal Party. But this is different. I mean, this would be survival. This isn't about personalities, I don't think. This would be about survival, this poll, because that poll, I can't remember what the numbers were, but wouldn't have been anywhere near as bad as this.
Yeah.
They might have gone down 1 or 2 points. It wasn't a catastrophe.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. More from Matt Abraham in just a moment. Enjoy your outdoor area all year round with an opening and closing roof designed, manufactured and installed locally by Luva House.
Morning there, a dull edge breakdown to look out for this morning, the intersection of Green Hill Road and Fullerton Road. Para Hill's got a smash getting cleaned up at the moment. No great delays, which is good. Bridge Road and McIntyre Road. But still got a few delays with night works running late at Camden Park, the intersection of Anzac Highway and Morford Road. Cover this morning, Cabin Road at Dry Creek. Where can you find the best local produce, great specials and food from around the world? Only at the markets, Adelaide Central Markets, open Tuesdays till Saturdays. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Ignition for Men. Adelaide's home of impeccable class and style offer a range of suits by leading Italian brands, including tailor-made wedding packages for the groom and groomsmen. Order 3 tailor-made suits and pay just $799 for each. Order 4 or more for just $749 per suit. Phenomenal value for a quality tailor-made suit. See Ignition for Men for tailor-made wedding packages. 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. ignitionformen.com.au. T's and C's apply.
There was this huge spider.
Really silly place for a letterbox.
Seriously, there were cows all over the road.
At Premier Panel Services, we've heard it all. But the one thing we hear often is, when will my car be ready? In most cases, we can start work straight away, thanks to our state-of-the-art workshop and highly skilled team. Ask your insurance company for Premier Panel Services. With over 45 years' experience, we'll get you back on the road sooner. premierpanel.com.au.
Aussies love the ocean, the sound of crashing waves, the sight of storms over the water. That's what life's all about, and it's what Ocean Bar and Kitchen are all about, enjoying delicious dishes or just a drink with unbeatable views of Henley Beach. Enjoy the sights, sounds and feel of the ocean, plus the taste of a mouth-watering menu of pasta and seafood. Make sure you look up their weekday specials through winter, like their Pasta Aplenty night on Wednesdays.
Not only that, the countdown's on. The Lexus Melbourne Cup Tour is making its way to Ocean Bar and Kitchen on this Saturday, 28th of June. Get your ticket now for an unforgettable day with stunning views, premium wine, brews, canapes and the glamour of the most iconic trophy in racing history. Limited spots, I'll do that one, thank you.
Sorry, mate.
Are available, so secure your spot now. Buy your ticket online for this Saturday, June 28th.
Crikey, how about that? Scene stealer. Ocean Bar and Kitchen, located on top of the Henley Surf Life. I'm so excited to talk about the Ocean Bar and Kitchen.
Exactly.
Henley Surf Lifesaving Club. It's open 11:30 till late. Enjoy.
Finding the perfect Volkswagen is easy at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. Even easier during their end of financial year sale. Choose from a massive range of new and demo Volkswagens available for delivery right now. Loads of colours, loads of options. On-site finance and next-day servicing. How easy is that? Too easy. Get a great drive-away deal during the end of financial year clearance. Ends June 30. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
6 minutes to 8. Matt Abraham in the 5AA Breakfast studio with us. You can watch along on the Facebook or YouTube live stream. Matt, one of the chats we had this week that got a heck of a lot of feedback was with the Housing Minister, Nick Champion.
That was very positive feedback, was it?
Not particularly.
Were you deluged with text saying, "Go Nick, we need more Nicks in government"?
Characterise it.
It reminds me, Nick Champion, who I don't know what it takes to get excited, because I reckon being a minister is a great job. You don't have to do much. You get other people do all the writing stuff for you. Okay, give me a briefing on that, will you? Have it on my desk by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. All this sort of gear. But so really, all you've got to do is look interested.
Sound like you care.
Have a look at that. The education minister in this government. Blair Boyer. He always looks like he's having a great time. Loves being at school.
Seems passionate about it.
And you think, I don't know what you're doing, but you look like it. And there's Nick. Oh, here we are, opening another 14,000 homes out on a salt plant, playing somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, reminds me of Bob Carr with Frank Sartor, who was a Lord Mayor of Sydney. You remind me, David, and but was an environment minister. And Bob Carr, I think, rang him up after he'd done this press conference about some endangered frog they'd saved, and apparently he said, "It's a frog, Frank. You're the environment minister. Look interested." I always remember that. It's a frog. Anyway, so there you go, Nick Champion. They're trying to be humble. Which brings us to some spin. Matt. Now, the first is a montage. Ashton Hearn, Vincent Tarzia, who's standing and nodding approvingly while Ashton Hearn's speaking, and then Peter Malinauskas looking at possibility, or ruling out the possibility of regime change in the Liberal Party, and the voice of Mike Smithson, the old wily old fox, introduces this on 7 News.
Shadow Health Minister Ashton Hearn is the hottest tip to take over Tarzia's job, but says she won't be a challenger.
Absolutely not. Look, Vincent has my full support. He's got the full support of our entire team.
What we're focused on doing is to make sure that we don't have a dictator like government and Premier.
I and my whole team are really conscious of the fact that being in government is a privilege.
That was almost a perfect one after the other threesome of top shelf spin.
Who did it? Who wore it best?
I think Ashton. Just that delivery. I mean, what are you going to say when the leader's standing next to you?
She's a good performer.
Yeah.
Ruling out a challenge doesn't rule out running if the leader steps down.
Yes.
I think it's her nightmare scenario. I think she lives in fear of that happening. I don't think she's got any interest whatsoever in doing anything like that this term.
She might not. I think all of her colleagues should be really energised by trying to convince her otherwise. She's an excellent performer. She's good.
There you are.
I think she'd be a great counter to Malley because she could actually get under his skin by going to what I think could potentially be, if they did it the right way, a weakness for him, which is his sort of
blokey stuff.
Blokiness.
Yeah.
Bit of a jock.
It has to be a woman the Liberal Party have running against or Nicole
Flynn.
They've just opened pre-selections for McKillop.
Nicole Flynn could do the job.
Anyway, there's 3 of them, giving them 3 out of 10. They can share it. Matt. Now I know you played this grab of Donald Trump after dropping the bunker-busting bomb on Iran. He then dropped the F-bomb on Israel and Iran. But what a lot of people don't know, and I got access to this, is that there was more of that audio. So you'll hear the F-bomb, but just have a listen as he walks towards the chopper.
That they don't know what the they're doing.
Those 2 little shits are fighting like kids. If they don't knock it off, I'm going over there to slap the out of them and shove my foot up where the sun don't shine.
He didn't really say that.
It's hard to tell what's fake and real anymore, isn't it?
That was excellent. I saw that. I kind of wish he did say that.
He might have. Yeah, he might one day.
Yeah.
I bet he said it when he got on the chopper.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, and you have to be so careful with AI now because it is so good.
I think this might be the first time AI has been rated for Spin of the Week.
Exactly. Well, I'm giving it a big 10 out of 10. Matt.
All right, we'll catch you next week, mate. Be safe out there.
The BMW Expo sales event is ending soon. Don't miss your chance to enjoy savings equal to the GST on new BMW vehicles. Visit your participating BMW dealer today. bmw.com.au.
Simplicity Funerals make funeral planning the way it should be. Simple. With our easy and straightforward packages, it has never been simpler to organise a respectful funeral. Visit simplicityfunerals.com.au or call us 24/7 to get started today.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A top of 15 degrees with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Jade Robrin.
Chipped windscreen. RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
A drink driver has been caught in the Adelaide CBD early this morning, allegedly 6 times over the legal limit. After being taken to Hindley Street Police Station for a breath test, the man made a run for it but didn't get far. Once in custody, he blew 0.304. He's now facing multiple charges and is set to front court at a later date. Police are on the tail of a dog napper in Adelaide's eastern suburbs. They're calling on the public to help track down Alfredo, a fluffy white sheepdog. Senior Constable Matt Brown says the 3-year-old pup was snatched from its Payneham backyard just after midnight on Tuesday.
A 3-year-old Maremma sheepdog was stolen from a home on Ashbrook Avenue at Payneham. Now, CCTV has captured a woman in the area at the time, and there is a picture of her and also Alfredo, the dog. So get on our Facebook page and check both of them out.
Minister for Correctional Services Emily Burke has hit back at the state opposition's criticism of the handling of the state prison system. Shadow Correctional Service Minister Jack Batty says prisons are nearing full capacity, and with an average of 115 new inmates each week, the system could hit breaking point within days. But Minister Burke says that's not true.
It's not a capacity. We are investing in these beds. We've just put on an extra 19 beds in Mount Gambier. We're investing those beds to meet the need, and we're also investing in the need for tomorrow and for the next few years as well.
A former police detective believes a fresh $500,000 reward could be the key to unlocking a 23-year-old cold case. The body of British backpacker Peter Falconio has never been found after he went missing in the Northern Territory in 2001. Bradley John Murdoch is serving a life sentence for his murder and was diagnosed with terminal throat cancer in 2019. Former detective Dr. Terry Goldsworthy has told Today police will be taking more drastic measures as Murdoch's time starts to run out.
Police put a lot of effort into trying to recover the remains of people who have been murdered to give closure to the families, and this is just one way of putting some more pressure on people who may be out there and for 20 years have maintained their silence.
The boss of a global tobacco company believes Australia's illegal tobacco industry is one of the worst in the world. British American Tobacco has ranked the black market on par with countries like South Africa and Malaysia. Chief Executive Kingsley Wheaton says 55% of cigarettes sold are illegal.
A packet of legitimate cigarettes is averaging at about 40 Aussie dollars. An illicit packet of cigarettes about 15 Aussie dollars. I actually think it's a big problem because the government is losing revenue and the criminals are the only people that are winning.
Neuroscientists are investigating if improving body chemistry through drugs or diet could protect patients from developing a severe psychiatric illness. James Cook University professor Zoltan Tane says until now mental health has been linked to the production of serotonin and dopamine.
However, more recently, actually quite a large body of evidence has been gathered to show that abnormal brain energy metabolism seems to be a really important underlying mechanism for these conditions.
And Katy Perry is waking up in Adelaide this morning. She touched down late yesterday ahead of her first show at the Entertainment Centre tonight. Perry originally left SA off her itinerary, but the Premier stepped in when they crossed paths at the AFL Grand Final. She'll now play a total of 4 shows here.
Baby, you're a firework. Come on, show
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Jade. Port Adelaide will be hoping for a big response when they host Carlton in a big Thursday night fixture tonight at Adelaide Oval. Coach Ken Hinckley has wielded the axe, making 4 changes to the side that went down to Sydney last week. Jackson Mead, Jeremy Finlayson, Ryan Burton and Christian Moraes have been dropped, while the Power welcome back Aaliyah and Travis Boak. The Blues have also dropped 4 players, including ruckman Mark Pittonet, while Billy Wilson and Flynn Young will make their debut. Well, the West Indies are 4 for 57 at stumps on day 1 of the opening men's test against Australia in Barbados. The Aussies were bowled out for 180 after winning the toss and electing to bat. Jaden Seals claimed a 5-wicket haul for the hosts. He says it ranks high in his list of all-time achievements.
Yeah, this one was pretty special for me. I've played against Australia once and I was pretty much injured during that series, so to come back here and to play against them now and get 5 on the first test match on the first day was pretty special.
Yeah, great effort. That audio courtesy of ESPN. To soccer, the Matildas will begin a new era under new coach Joe Montemuro when they host Slovenia in the first of their friendlies in Perth tonight. Meantime, Borussia Dortmund has qualified on top of its group at the FIFA Club World Cup following a 1-0 win against Ulsan Hyundai this morning. South Aussie Lee Chu is among the players still hoping to qualify for the main draw of Wimbledon after surviving an epic 3-setter in qualifying against Japan's Sho Shimabukuro. Alex Bolt, James McCabe, Emerson Jones, Talia Gibson and Priscilla Hon are also trying to win their way through. Aussie Cam Davis will be hoping to defend his title at the Rocket Mortgage Classic, which gets underway tonight in Detroit. And 4 Australians are expected to be picked up in the NBA draft this morning. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thank you, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Switch and save on your car service and repairs. Call 1300 Automasters.
Morning there at Theberton. Got a 2-car smash to look out for today. South Road at George Street with a few delays. Break day getting cleaned up at the moment at Dulwich. It's on Greenhill Road and Fullerton Road. And Para Hills, another collision getting cleaned up as we speak. Bridge Road and McIntyre Road. Early morning cameras, Bartley Terrace, West Lakeshore and Cavan Road at Dry Creek. The Good Guys has a huge range of epic deals for end of financial year on now. Check online for extended hours. Epic deals only at The Good Guys. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Bring your event to life in a venue where it all comes together. Search Adelaide Convention Centre.
Partly cloudy and 15 today, 16 and cloudy tomorrow, and mostly sunny for Saturday and 15 degrees. Right now it's 8 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
Get ready for Viking Fest, free at the South Australian Museum. Discover medieval markets with costumes, jewellery and crafts. Enjoy locally brewed mead, axe throwing, combat demos and the Inferno Fire Show. Enter Viking beard and costume competitions. Plus don't miss Treasures of the Viking Age, the Galloway Horde exhibition. Purchase your tickets online to see the Horde today. Viking Fest, June 28 and 29 at the South Australian Museum. Supported by the City of Adelaide and Adelaide Economic Development Agency.
Join Phil Hoffman Travel on Saturday the 5th of July at the Playford Hotel for Luxury Travel Day, your gateway to the world's best land and cruise travel experiences. Enjoy a glass of bubbles on arrival with exclusive offers, captivating travel talks and expert advice from your favourite luxury travel brands, all available on the day. Luxury Travel Day, Saturday, July 5th, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m, the Playford Hotel, North Terrace. Register at pht.com.au.
Just call Ken Hall. We'll be there anytime at all. Just call Ken Hall.
Winter is coming, bringing blocked drains, cold showers, leaking roofs and a chilly home. Don't worry, just call Ken. We'll be there when you need us. Ken Hall will get your home ready for winter with heater servicing, gutter cleaning and roof inspections. Stay safe and warm this winter. Just call Ken. Working for you since 1983.
Just call Ken Hall.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
It's a beautiful day.
Hyundai's end of financial year sale is
Nine minutes after 8, breaking 8 coming up in just a moment. We're going to be chatting with some parents of the 199 children They're going to have to find alternatives to the OSH at the Happy Haven at Riverdale Primary School that has been issued a suspension order by the Education Standards Board. This is the OSH, you might recall, that left a child on a bus that then got locked up and sent back to the depot because the child fell asleep and they were unaccounted for until the parent
Don't
turned
they count
up.
them? Like, how simple? It sounds like it should be foolproof.
It would appear that there are concerns beyond just that case that have led to this suspension as well. So a couple of concerned parents are going to speak to us after 8:30 on the condition of anonymity, which of course we will honour. If you are one of the affected families too, we would love to hear your take on this. 8223 0000 or text us on 0480 1395. So we're going to do some more work on that after 8:30. We'd love you to be part of that conversation because there is no more serious responsibility than trusting the care of your children with someone. And there are 199 families that have got a story to tell this morning, and we'd like to hear them. So we'll get to that after 8:30. Right now, it's time for Breaking 8.
Well, it is now a very long 6 weeks since Port Vincent Oysters on the beautiful York Peninsula has been shut down. It's one of a number of oyster farms that has been hit by FIVEAA with a closure order. Steve Bowley is the owner and operator of Pacific Estate Oysters, and he joins us now for Breaking at 8. Steve, this must feel like it's been an eternity for you. Now, I understand there's a meeting with FIVEAA today, but remind our listeners, what was the thing that forced the closure?
Well, it's the bloom, which has been, it's now, 53 days since we've been closed. So 53 days since we've sold an oyster. So, the algal bloom, which is the size of Kangaroo Island, so some 4,000 square kilometres, is and it's now basically right through Gulf St Vincent, is affecting. That's the thing that's creating the fish kills and the rotten smell, and there are some health effects on people, runny noses and eyes and sore throat.
Have they had evidence though that the bloom itself has affected your oysters, or are they doing it out of precaution?
Well, no, it is. That bloom, the bloom is made up of a soup of various species of algae, and a couple of them have serious health effects on humans. And that one is called, Carenia. They're all Carenia. Carenia brevis is, there's probably 3 or 4 that are harmful, and so that creates a brevatoxin, which is a neurotoxin, and that's not good and creates some real problems for human health. So it was initially a precautionary closure because we saw, and by the way, we've never seen this in Australia before, this particular toxin. And typically, bloom events tend to be very short-term and very localised. So, when you're getting something that is the size of a small country, it's probably time to throw that rule book out and let's have a look at another one. So that's the thing that's causing the issue, is the brevatoxin, which is a subset of the algal bloom that's out there and basically right through Gulf St Vincent at this time.
Are you confident, or rather, are you hopeful, Steve, that the storms, that the weather we've had might force a rethink though on the ban?
Well, yes. Well, again, we've had now 3 weather events. We haven't been out. I haven't been out this week yet. The weather's been a bit shitty, but the previous 2 weather events didn't do anything to the bloom. And I think people need to understand, when it's this size and weather events, as we've seen, gets reported in the news all the time, it's not a consistent thing. So you might get 100-kilometre-hour winds in one area, and then 20 kilometres down the road, they get nothing. They've got sunshine and cool breezes. So we're seeing that. I think it should be breaking up, but again, the size of this thing is unprecedented, and that's the issue for us.
So, Steve, for 53 days you haven't sold an oyster. How have you been making ends meet?
Oh, now, yeah, that's a good one. Put it this way: my wife and I sat down, and she said, "That's it. We're not putting any more money into it. Things still have to be paid. We have an insurance bill, which is like $8,000 or something like that, and we're dipping into our savings, and we're fast running out."
Well, mate,
not good.
Fingers crossed that you get some positive news when you have this meeting with FIVEAA this week. As you say, hopefully they'll have some more information for you. We'll stay in touch on this because, your oysters absolutely magnificent, and you told us too that they're looking good at the moment. So hopefully they'll be back on our plate soon enough. Steve Bowley from Pacific Estate Oysters on York Peninsula.
15 minutes after 8, there's a story that's been bubbling along behind the scenes in Adelaide since the start of this month, or in the end of May, really. It came to our attention when strike action by Access cabbies threatened to make life difficult for the Wheelchair Rugby World Challenge. One of the biggest events of its kind in the world was taking place at the Netball SA Stadium at the start of June, end of May, that sort of weekend that straddled that. And the strike action happened, and we went, well, the timing of that would seem to be cruel, given what was going on. We were contacted by an Access cabbie in the context of that conversation that said, actually, there's an issue here that we want to bring to the public's attention with regard to a new rule from the state government that taxi drivers can no longer be booked. Debbie has gotten in contact with us subsequently with some of her own concerns. Debbie, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
We're good, thank you, Debbie. So what are you seeing with the state of play with the cabbies at the moment?
Well, it used to be so our clients would have their own taxi driver who would pick them up in the morning, take them to their activities, and then pick them up and then return them. Now, these taxi drivers have known our clients for a couple of years now, but what's happening now is we can't have those same drivers now. So you've taken away choice and control straight away from the people with disabilities and anyone who wants to catch a taxi. So now we're waiting for taxis up to an hour. Half an hour late, they're rocking up to pick them up from the house. And also when they go to their activities, they're picking them up late from their activities. And sometimes they're even an hour late home, and we just can't get taxis.
That would be quite stressful, I'd imagine, for some of the people that you're talking about. Because, Debbie, from what you said in the email that you sent us, some of the passengers, the people with disabilities, some of them are like non-verbal on that, aren't they?
Oh, that's correct. They're all wheelchair bound, and they're highly intellectual disabilities, so they can't speak. And so now they're just going off with a different person every day.
Debbie, the state government said that the reason they banned this preferential booking for Access taxis was because of a lack of availability, that there were people that needed to suddenly go to a hospital treatment or a doctor that couldn't get them because they were otherwise engaged or they'd been committed to other long-term preferential bookings. What would you say to that justification for this change?
Well, I would say they need to look at also the $25 loading thing that they have now for Access taxis. So every time you load a wheelchair, an Access cab gets $25 automatically. What we find now is the long trips. It's very hard to catch a taxi on a long trip. All taxi drivers want the short trips now because they automatically get the $25 loading. I myself, we had to cancel a doctor's appointment once, and this was at 11 o'clock in the morning, which is pretty much a low peak time, you would think. It's not early in the morning at 9 o'clock or not lunchtime or 3 o'clock when all the schools are ending. And I had to cancel the appointment because no taxi driver would pick it up because it was too long.
Well, we're going to try to raise this with the state government, Debbie. Thanks for sharing your concerns. We did a bit of work on this story a few weeks ago. Wasn't there also a component to it where the government believed that there was some rorts going on as well?
Well, we've got the Transport and Infrastructure Minister, Tom Koutsantonis, on the line now, who we spoke to on the occasion of that strike last time. We got the Minister on to also talk about the funding of the rebuild for these regional jetties. And we'll get to that in a moment, Minister. I'm not sure if you just heard Debbie, who called in to have a chat with us about the preferential booking changes to Access cabs. Good morning to you. She seems to be saying her experience is that this has made life worse for people with certainly intellectual disabilities that came to know and love cab drivers that they went with, and it's made the system less friendly for people that are trying to access it. What's your response to that?
That's not our intent. I'm dealing with a system that is plagued with corruption, plagued with bullying and intimidation. I've had reports and investigations showing of coercion, of people being picked up against their will, who are severely disabled, who are being taken advantage of by some drivers. And I've got examples of people like I just heard now, where Debbie was saying they're waiting an hour or more to be picked up from an excursion or a trip where they've gone out, and it's creating all this anxiety. I've got these two opposing principles being put at me. One is that there is not enough work to make access cabs viable, and then another saying there is so much work that we can't get a taxi at all. Both can't be true. And when you dig into it, what we're finding is some drivers are making so much money from only working a couple of hours a day that their car's spending more time parked in the garage than it is doing the work. So what we've done is we've done two things. We've stopped preferencing, and we're making sure that the drivers are out from 7:30 in the morning till 6 at night, which is law. It's an act of parliament. And those drivers have to be available and take bookings. And if they don't, they might not be eligible for the $100,000 buyback scheme. So we're doing everything we can to try and make these drivers available. But when you hear stories like what I've just heard now, we've got a clause where we're allowing people who are neurodivergent or non-verbal who do have a relationship with an individual driver. We're asking those carers to email us and let us know, and we'll grant exemptions.
Okay.
So if there are legitimate cases where it is about anxiety and dealing with the same person over and over again, which is creating comfort, we're up for that. But I've also got to stamp out the corruption. And to give you an example, guys, we found an example of one driver who made $250,000 just in government subsidies from a very, very small cohort of customers. And people working only 3 or 4 hours a day. So there is corruption in this industry, which I've got to try and clean up. And I'm going to break a few eggs in doing it. It's going to upset a few people, and I know that. But this can't continue because we're dealing with the most vulnerable people in the state.
Sounds like there's a workaround potentially for the Debbies of this world who have people with specific circumstances that might be eligible for that exemption. Can we ask you about the state of some of our regional jetties? We spoke with the Kingston District Council Mayor, the Yankalilla Council Mayor a little bit earlier. Various states of disrepair those jetties are in. How does the funding of the rebuild model work from the state government's perspective?
Well, there's two things here. Ones that have been damaged because of storms, they're covered by insurance. Every state government-owned jetty is covered by insurance, and that storm damage will be repaired through our insurance policies. Councils that have got leased jetties from the state government have got a requirement to keep them at a level that is fit and purpose. And if they're not, we've got a $20 million program which spends about $5 million a year repairing these jetties, and we want councils to match us. So we're offering this money each and every year, $5 million a year, to co-fund with our councils to rebuild our jetties. Now, a lot of these councils don't want to do that. They want us to pay for all of it. I'm a bit concerned about the way some councils have maintained their jetties. I'm not asking them to do, large amounts of work once off. I'm asking for little bits each and every year to maintain them and make sure that they're properly insured.
Is part of the problem, though, for regional councils, Minister, that they might have fewer ratepayers, a lower income stream than a bigger city council? I mean, I don't know what the head count of the Kingston SE Council is, but they probably don't have as deep pockets as, say, Holdfast Bay.
Well, that's right, and that's why we favour the regional councils with the grants. We give them a lot more than we give metropolitan councils because it's harder for them to pay, which is why we've got this fund to start with.
Right.
So I agree with you. What frustrates me is councils know how popular jetties are, don't spend any money on them, they get lots of tourism as a result of them, and when they fall into disrepair, they blame someone else. Now, I'm not saying that about Kingston Council, but there are some councils out there that have spent very, very little on their jetties and are now threatening to close them, and they're trying to blame someone else for their disrepair.
Yeah.
I'm up for the rebuild, but we're not going to do it on our own. We're going to do it with the councils, and we're going to make sure that if they are returning them, they sign contracts with us, that they be returned to us in the condition that they were given them. And I expect them to honour that.
Tom Coutson-Town is the Minister for Infrastructure and Transport. Thank you for that.
It's 24 minutes after 8. We're going to check traffic and come back with more on 5AA Breakfast in just a moment. Enjoy your outdoor area all year round with an opening and closing roof designed, manufactured and installed locally by Lubaus.
Thanks, Will. At Theberton, two-car smash in South Road at George Street causing a few delays. Not too bad, so that's okay. Dulwich breakdown getting cleaned up at the intersection of Green Hill and Fullerton Roads. And Para Hills, delays clearing from an earlier crash on Bridge Road near McIntyre Road. Busy South Road, Edwardstown with a camera trimmer parade at Seaton. South Australia, RAA Rewards is here. With hundreds of ways to save every day, it's better to be a member with RAA Rewards. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
Sloan was on Channel 9's Footy Classified, and I was wow.
I know for a fact that a couple of players have come to our club and expressed what other clubs have said to them around our footy club.
We used to hear it all the time in here, and I used to ring the club about it. Bit sad to know. I'd love to know the players we missed out on.
The 5AA Sports Show.
It would have been from across the border, and we would have been poisoned.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
I can't manage my pain. My pain manages me.
Too many of us suffer in silence with chronic pain from irritable bowel syndrome and endometriosis. But the search for a remedy is very close. As close as North Terrace and the labs at Samri.
Who will help me?
We can all help. So give now to take the pain away. To find out more, go to samri.org.au.
Hello. For professional tilers, the all-new Tileworks by National Tiles is life-changing. Tileworks tilers make up to $50,000 per year or more than other tilers. That's give or take an extra $1,000 per week. Yes, Tileworks for professional tilers is life-changing. You get free premium adhesive and grout, free delivery, plus substantial monthly cash rebates. So if you're a professional tiler, find out more about Tileworks and rush to join now at nationaltiles.com.au. Conditions apply.
Harvey Norman clearance ends Monday. Stores open until 9 tonight. Shop TVs, fridges, laptops, mobiles, furniture, bedding and more. Save up to 30% off Windows 11 computers. All the big brands on sale. Save $500 on Dreamy L40S Ultra Robot Vac and Mop. Now $1,497. Australian-made King Coil Conformer Element Queen Mattress, just $849. And save $160 on the Everdure Kiln Gas Pizza Oven. Now just $798. Harvey Norman clearance ends Monday. Stores open until 9 tonight. Trading hours may vary.
Jayco's Great Escape end of financial year stock clearance is now on. Jump in at Jayco with huge end of financial year savings across the Jayco range. For great prices from Australia's biggest manufacturer, visit Jayco Adelaide today.
At Coles, stock up on snacks with great half-price specials on Aussie classics. Like half-price Arnott's-shaped crackers, 130 to 190 grams, now just $2. Shop in-store or online at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Alex and Mia travel from Glenelg for plants from Garden Grove. Wade came from Harndorf for lawn, and Gemma from Gawler got her pavers from Garden Grove, one of Adelaide's biggest garden centres, with one of Adelaide's biggest ranges. No wonder people travel miles to visit. With a playground to keep the kids entertained and cafe to unwind in. Garden Grove, Golden Grove Road, Golden Grove. 7-day delivery to your area.
Garden Grove, a garden that I want.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
28 minutes after 8. Stick around. In a moment, we're going to be chatting with both a parent of a child that went to the OSH run by Happy Haven at Riverdale Primary School and a former staff member who have both contacted us on the condition of anonymity to talk about what's going on there. That particular OSH now the subject of a suspension order by the Education Standards Board affecting 199 children from 4 different schools who rely on it. If you've got a story to tell us, or just a comment to make about the service, we'd love to hear from you. 8223 0000 is our number.
Some feedback on the text line about the doctor's pay dispute from somebody who works as a senior doctor They say that as a senior doctor, I work every second weekend. We constantly are seeing and discussing patients for discharge, as well as our acutely unwell patients. Without 7-day services in other areas, no amount of senior doctors will help. This pay deal for me will see me working weekends for less pay than currently. I'm happy to work weekends. This is not the issue. Thanks for that, anonymous doctor person.
Yep, thank you very much. All right, we're going to take a break. 5AA News is coming up. Plenty of time for your stories. 8223 You can contact it on the text line as well, 0480 8 1395. Or, as always, jump on the 5AA Facebook and YouTube live stream.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Simplicity Funerals make funeral planning the way it should be. Simple. With our easy and straightforward packages, it has never been simpler to organise a respectful funeral. Visit simplicityfunerals.com.au or call us 24/7 to get started today.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
A top of 15 degrees with the 8:30 news. Good morning, I'm Jade Robran.
Make RAA approved windscreen repairer, Complete Windscreens, your insurer repairer of choice. Visit completewindscreens.com.au.
A drink driver has been caught behind the wheel 6 times over the limit in the CBD early this morning. Senior Constable Matt Brown says the man blew .304.
The man has since been charged for multiple traffic offences, including driving under the influence, drive with excess blood alcohol, drive disqualified and drive unregistered motor vehicle.
An after-school care centre in the northern suburbs has been shut down amid a string of major breaches of child safety. Investigations have revealed children were often left unsupervised for extended periods of time, locked in buses by accident, and sometimes sent home with broken bones. There's been an unusual exchange at the NATO summit between the organisation's chief and Donald Trump. Europe correspondent Jessica Millward explains.
In a day of headline-grabbing comments from the US president, including when he compared the American strikes on Iran as similar to Hiroshima, it was this interaction between Donald Trump and the NATO Secretary-General that has everyone talking.
Like 2 kids in a schoolyard, you know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes, then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
Mark Rutte referring to the Commander-in-Chief as Daddy, while praising him for brokering a peace deal between Israel and Iran. The exchange raising many eyebrows.
Former police detective Dr. Terry Goldsworthy says police will be taking more drastic measures as backpack murderer Bradley John Murdoch's time starts to run out. A renewed $500,000 reward is on offer for information that could finally lead police to the remains of British backpacker Peter Falconio. The 28-year-old was murdered on a remote stretch of highway in the Northern Territory back in 2001. Murdoch is now in palliative care with terminal cancer, but continues to withhold the location of the body.
Police put a lot of effort into trying to recover the remains of people who have been murdered to give closure to the families, and this is just one way of putting some more pressure on people who may be out there and for 20 years have maintained their silence.
Councils say they're struggling to keep up with the costs of managing and preparing for an increase in national disasters. The Australian Local Government Association is calling for a $400 million annual climate adaptation fund to help future-proof communities. President Matt Burnett says planting trees to combat heat and rolling out flood-resilient programs all add up.
This really does need the support of the federal government to make that happen. Long are the days of roads, rates and rubbish, which is all council were to deal with. It's far beyond that now.
Parents are being urged to supervise their child's online presence as the school holidays approach. It's been revealed kids across the country are being targeted by online predators while in the safety of their own homes. Queensland Detective Superintendent Denzel Clark maintains parents should be alert, not alarmed.
The key really is to build a trusting relationship with your child where no matter what happens, your child knows they can come to you, even if it's embarrassing, and they can seek some help and you can help them deal with whatever's happened.
A revolutionary treatment for recurrent prostate cancer is now available to patients. The Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital has become the first public hospital in Australia to offer the nano knife procedure. The technique can successfully remove cancer in the treatment area, more than 90% of patients. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Good morning, Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Jay. We're going to start with football. AFL great Matthew Lloyd doesn't believe Carlton will sack their coach Michael Voss mid-season.
They're not going to make a decision on Michael Voss this year. There's 9 games left to go, and they're currently 6 wins and 8 losses, just like Port Adelaide are, who they're playing tonight. So whoever loses, their season is over, but there won't be any rash decisions if they have a bad one again tonight. So he sees out the year, but he'd want to win 6 of their last 9, even if they don't play finals, just for them to go, yes, let's give him his last season.
Voss will coach the Blues tonight against Port Adelaide in a match at Adelaide Oval. Both sides must win to keep any chance of playing the finals alive. The Blues have made 4 changes, as have the Power, who bring in Aaliyah and Travis Boak, while Jackson Mead's been dropped, along with Jeremy Finlayson, Ryan Burton and Christian Moraes. Meantime, the Power's women have announced Justine Mules-Robinson as the captain for the 2025 season. Let's go to cricket. Australia's been bowled out for 180 on day 1 of the first test against the West Indies. That's after winning the toss and electing to bat. Travis Head top scored with 59. West Indies firebrand Shamar Joseph tore the heart out of Australia's top order, including an absolute peach to skittle Bo Webster.
Bowled in. What a delivery from Shamar Joseph. Conceded a boundary in the previous ball, but this was unplayable.
Yeah, audio thanks to ESPN. It was a beauty. In reply, though, the Windies are in trouble. They're 4 for 57 at stumps. And in some tennis to finish, 6 Australians have made the final round of Wimbledon qualifying. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And that was a peach of a read. Thank you so much, Tommy. Let's check the traffic out there.
Switch and save on your car service and repairs. Call 1300 Automasters.
At St Peters, a 2-car smash. Stephen Terrace at 5th Avenue. Theberton, 2-car smash there too. South Road at George Street causing a few delays. Works at O'Halloran Hill to look out for. Southern Expressway to Majors Road for the new on and off ramps. And we're slow at Newton at the moment for works 2, Montague Road near Rosina Street. Cameras Cavern Road, Dry Creek and Kessers Road at Para Hills West. Absolutely everything is on sale at Freedom. Get up to 40% off store-wide. Plus, get a further 10% off and get free delivery. Sale must end Monday, only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Bring your event to life in a venue where it all comes together. Search Adelaide Convention Centre.
Partly cloudy and 15 today, 16 and cloudy tomorrow, and mostly sunny for Saturday and 15. Right now, it's 8 degrees on 5AA, always Adelaide.
This is the sound of chef and business owner Tom sleep-talking.
Yes, chef. So many bills. Team happy. Keep the team happy.
He's feeling the pressure of running his own business, and it's costing him sleep.
Bills.
But it doesn't have to. Westpac Small Business Solutions can help keep the cash flowing and get Tom a good night's rest. Search Westpac Small Business Solutions to find out how we can help you. Eligibility, credit criteria, fees, T's and C's apply.
Adelaide's local, trusted and truly connected talkback radio station. 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Hi, Jane Riley here. Did you know there's a virus called RSV and a couple of like viruses which can cause severe illness and even death in infants and the elderly? Research is urgently needed to find a vaccine which will attack 2 or 3 of these viruses at the same time. Local Adelaide company Fusion Clinical Research is conducting trials to find that vaccine. Interested in volunteering? Call Fusion on 08 7077 6996. You will be compensated for your time.
Now, it's amazing how many great Aussie success stories started in a back shed. So it's fitting that it's the exact same place where the Olympic industry story began.
From humble family beginnings in an old rundown shed to one of the largest home improvement companies in South Australia, Olympic Industries is currently celebrating their end of financial year sale with fantastic savings across their entire range, including garages, carports, verandas and more.
Great things happen in sheds, and even greater things can happen in an Olympic Industries shed. So don't miss your chance to grab a bargain during Olympic Industries' end of financial financial year sale on now.
Visit one of their 4 display centres at Para Hills, Paraka, Clarence Gardens or Old Ranella, or check out the range at olympicindustries.com.au. Olympic Industries, built to last.
It's Dreamland's red tag sale and we're seeing red.
That's right. If you see a red tag at Dreamland, you'll get up to 60% off. That's up to 60% off big brand Australian ensembles, mattresses, beds, bedroom furniture and Manchester. You'll be seeing red if you miss out. With 6 Dreamland stores, all SA owned and operated, why not treat yourself to a good night's sleep with up to 60% off in our once-a-year red tag sale?
Think you can beat Dreamland's red tag sale? You're dreaming. Dreamland.
This end of financial year, the feeling starts at CMI Toyota, SA's #1 selling Toyota dealer. There's over 200 pre-owned vehicles in stock, ready for immediate delivery. Like the 2021 Hilux Workmate from $26,990 plus on roads. And every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee. View the range online or visit CMI Toyota today. We love to see you CMI. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota. Rego S987CKP. LVD 2009.
Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
20 minutes to 9. Just hearing a whisper, a very positive news story with regard to Alfredo, the stolen dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're getting just some...
Alfredo.
Alfredo.
Not Fredo as in Corleone.
We believe... No.
John
Well,
Cazale.
maybe. Unlikely. I'm just looking at the report.
My brother Mikey.
It would appear that someone has been arrested.
Really? Well, sucked into them.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
What sort of
news.
a person steals a person's dog?
Yeah, so that's literally as we speak breaking. So we'll shore that one up and confirm it with SAPOL. But it sounds like good news for Alfredo and Alfredo's owners, and bad news for whoever the lowlife is that decided to try and go into someone's house and pinch their dog. Big story broke last night. 7 News had the exclusive. The Education Standards Board has suspended the OSH that's run at Happy Haven at Riverdale Primary School. This is the company, you might recall, that was responsible for leaving a sleeping child alone on a locked bus that ended up going back to the depot, and the child was found when parents arrived to pick them up and they weren't there. Well, it sounds like it's not the only issue that the OSH there has to deal with, because they're now suspended and not running, which is bad news for the 199 children that they look after. It's bigger than just Riverdale Primary School as well. They also cover Lake Windermere, Paralowie and Salisbury Down as well. All those children are transported to Riverdale Primary School OSH by a bus each and every day. Let's take some calls on this, because right throughout the morning we've been hearing off air from people who are connected to the Happy Haven at Riverdale Primary School OSH, including this mother of a child that attended the OSH there, who would like to remain anonymous, and we're going to obviously honour that. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So what was your experience as a parent of having a child in Happy Haven?
My children don't attend the Riverdale site. They attend another one of their sites, which is just as poorly run and unstructured as it seems Riverdale was. Lots of missing children, injuries, broken bones.
Broken bones?
Yeah, 3 of them from my children. And it took a week before we found out how my son broke both bones in his arm, and it was because he had fallen from the top of a playground while they were unsupervised.
So my goodness! Nobody watching.
Nobody watching. It took a child to tell me what had actually happened a week later.
Unbelievable. And what about the other point that you made too about kids going missing? What were their head count issues as well?
They don't do head counts, as far as I'm aware. But my children are 7 and 8, so they're pretty adept at telling me what happens there on a daily basis. They don't get counted. They don't even get picked up from class. So if they're expecting a child to come to OSH after class, it's up to a child, and that could be one as young as 5, to walk themselves from the classroom to the OSH building. And then, my children won't get checked in until 20 minutes after school's finished.
So you can have kids just wandering around like Brown's cows, not necessarily going to OSH straight away?
Absolutely.
What sort of a response did you get as a mum when you spoke to the OSH about the injuries to your child's arm?
There's they put a lot of blame on the children, saying that the children don't listen, all these sorts of things, that they can't supervise all of the children. They've told us we don't have enough staff, and then when we try and push it too far and get them to actually take responsibility, what I got told was, well, you have no other choice but to use the service, do you?
Well, crikey, it's one way to handle it. Unbelievable. Thank you for sharing that story, Mum.
Well, let's hear now from a former worker from Happy Haven at Riverdale. Good morning to you. You've just heard what that mother said about another site. Does that jar with your perspective, having worked at the site in question?
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with the mother.
Wow.
Yes.
Where are the sort of pressure points coming from in the workplace setting? Is it a lack of staff, or is it a lack of training? What do you think is the problem?
Lack of staff, a lack of staff who are supposed to be experienced, but I witnessed many occasions where that staff would be outside supervising, I would be outside supervising, and they were sitting down, heads down on their telephone, I assume on Facebook, and I felt like I was the only one supervising. And yes, many broken bones at the site that I worked on.
Did you leave because you were just fed up with it?
I left because, yes, and being a grandmother myself and a mother, I was just shocked and appalled by what was going on in that centre. In my heart of hearts, I couldn't work there anymore. I had to leave. I took it pretty badly because I really felt for the parents and felt for the children.
I would imagine that, being a parent, that kids take risks, kids do rat bag things, they run around, they jump off the top of playground equipment and so forth, and inevitably spraining your wrist, breaking your arm, it's almost part of growing up. But is there something specifically about Happy Haven that means that it feels that they are significantly overrepresented in that due to the lack of oversight?
Management don't care. Many a times I put in complaints and it was just swept under the carpet. The managers do not listen. Some of the managers do have no experience whatsoever in the field. They used to be salespeople. Nothing wrong with salespeople, don't get me wrong, but they had no formal qualifications or training.
Goodness. Well, there's some serious allegations that have been levelled against Happy Haven. The Education Minister, Blair Boyer, has been listening to all of this. Minister, what's your reaction?
Oh, listen, I mean, that's all, very concerning to hear. There's no doubt about that. And obviously what took place at Riverdale was completely unacceptable. It was not a good set of circumstances, particularly, when you consider that the child was only actually sort of found because the mother or the parent was using an air tag to track down where the child was. So I don't make any excuses at all for what's taken place there. The action that we've taken, of course, since has been to suspend the service. And I know that will cause a lot of inconvenience to families who rely on that OSH. We are doing what we can now to try to find another operator to start providing out-of-school hours care from the start of Term 3. But it will mean that there is no OSH for those families across those 4 sites who get bused to Riverdale between now and the end of next week, which is the end of Term 2. But we are trying to work with the Education Department, my department, to provide some kind of vacation care for those families across those 2 weeks. But I'm hoping perhaps that your 2 callers might be prepared to leave their details so I could speak to them and get some more information about the examples that they have given, because I would very much like to have that looked into. And I think the independent regulator, the ESB, would like to look at that as well. It's these kind of things are very serious. Very serious. We take them very seriously, but I do feel for the families involved, because it would be a frightening experience to find that your child is unaccounted for and only tracked down due to your own efforts using an AirTag.
Do you worry, Minister, that there might be, more than one operator, and I'm certainly not trying to besmirch the entire sector, but when you've got a sort of profit motive behind these things, and you could almost extend this out to some sections of childcare as well. Yeah. Is the business model, is there a scary proposition, or is there a scary scenario whereby the business model is cut cost as much as you can, minimum level of supervision equals maximum profit?
I think that is a risk, yes. I think you're right. And I think, in examples like this, where to try to get kind of the critical mass of students using OSH that makes the service profitable for the operator, and in this case there's 4 different sites, as you said, busing children each morning and afternoon to Riverdale to receive out-of-school hours care. I think that's an example of where, because the schools individually might not have enough demand themselves for OSH, that the provider needs to kind of operate across 4 different sites. And I think the point you made is an accurate one. I think we are, as a government, trying to put more focus on quality and out-of-school hours care, being more involved as an education department in an area that we haven't traditionally been. And when issues like this come up, we are making sure the independent regulator uses all the powers they have available to them under the Act. And in this case, they went into this site upon hearing what happened and said, right, from now on, you are doing head counts every 15 minutes. And you are reporting those head counts to us every 15 minutes, so all your students can be accounted for. And when it was found that that wasn't being followed, then the next step was taken straight away, which was to suspend the service. And that's strong action, but I also acknowledge that it leaves parents in the lurch who rely on OSH, and I'm one of those families who uses OSH twice a week, and I understand the inconvenience that it causes to families when it's not available to them in their busy lives.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, Minister, just one final thing. We've banned phones in schools. Are OSH staff allowed to use their phones while they're working?
That's a good question. There's actually been a case around childcare out of a pretty terrible event that took place, I think, in it was Queensland or New South Wales. I think it was called Operation Tenterfield, where a staff member used a phone in a childcare setting to do some pretty horrendous things. I think there are regulations in place around what they can be used for, but I think it's fair to say that our expectations as the education department, who would be allowing providers to run OSH on our school sites, would be that when they are responsible for supervising and monitoring kids, they are not on their phones.
Yeah, I didn't mean for dodgy stuff. I meant more for distraction. But I just threw it out there. We had a text about it. Hey, Minister Blair Boyle, we will go back, and it will be their call, not ours or respectfully yours. But we will extend an invitation to those 2 anonymous people we spoke to talk to you. And thanks for approaching them through us.
All right, time for traffic. Enjoy your outdoor area all year round with an opening and closing roof designed, manufactured and installed locally by Luva House.
At St Peters, a 2-car smash on Stephen Terrace at 5th Avenue. Theberton, another collision to look out for. South Road at George Street. One at Elizabeth Vale, a broken down car on Main North Road near John Rice Avenue. Busy at Vale Park, Ascot Avenue near Harris Road, speeds at 40, with cameras Lockside Drive, West Lakes and Port Road at Queenstown. The Barbecues Galore end of financial year clearance is on now. Shop now for Maxi Heat Prime 150 wood heaters at just $899, only at Barbecues Galore. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
South Australia brings you the simple pleasure of a winter creature. From glow-in-the-dark mushrooms emerging for a fairy tale moment, to majestic whales cruising ancient ocean highways. Some visitors wait all year to get here, and seeing them, definitely worth coming out of your shell for. South Australia, celebrate the simple pleasures.
Ignition for Men. Adelaide's home of impeccable class and style offer a range of suits by leading Italian brands, including the unparalleled quality of Armani, Canali, Zegna, and more. Ignition for Men. What you wear speaks volumes about who you are and where you're going in the world. Make your mark with Ignition for Men. Best fit, best brands. 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. ignitionformen.com.au.
So you've been volunteered to organise the office party again. Well, Christmas in July at Spheres is the mid-year party you need, happening Friday, July 5. It's the one night only at the stunning Spheres Park Suites in Modbury.
Spheres will put on a festive three-course meal, a massive 5-hour drinks package and live music from the Incredibles, one of Adelaide's best party bands. After that, the DJ keeps the dance floor going all night. It's just $110 per person, 110, which honestly, for that much party, unbeatable.
Round up the work crew, grab your friends and book a table before it sells out. Christmas in July at Spheres, July 5, live music, dinner, drinks and no awkward team bonding games. Just a great night out. Head to spheres.com to book.
Finding the perfect Volkswagen is easy at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen. Even easier during their end of financial year sale. Choose from a massive range of new and demo Volkswagens available for delivery right now. Loads of colours, loads of options. On-site finance and next-day servicing. How easy is that? Too easy. Get a great drive-away deal during the end of financial year clearance. Ends June 30. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Get the garden you want at Garden Grove. At Garden Grove, there's indoor plants and pots, general hardware and a great range of paving for that backyard renovation. Want some winter warmth too? You'll find loads of split and seasoned firewood right here at Garden Grove. Golden Grove Road, Golden Grove.
Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, the garden that
Phone 8251 1111 for delivery to all areas. Open 7 days. Hyundai's end of financial year sale is nearly over. Jump into the Tucson from $39,990 drive away at your participating Hyundai dealer.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
5 minutes to 9. Thursday night footy is going to be massive tonight. Port and Carlton at Adelaide Oval, and then a big weekend of footy ahead. To get your tips sorted, Ryan Fitzgerald joins us. Morning to you, Fitzy.
Good morning, boys. Actually, do you know what? We had someone at the Best of SA dinner last night saying they followed me in the tips. Pembo, you were there, and they're winning their tipping competition.
Mate, I mentioned it before. That they currently come on top. Yet you have not actually been getting on any of your own tips, mate. You've had a shocker.
No, I'm not actually a part of a tipping competition, so I'm glad I'm going all right. I said to the bloke, you owe me a beer, and he said, yeah, I'll get you one. They were free anyway at the Best of SA dinner at Adelaide Oval, but I couldn't believe it. I'm doing all right.
Mate, he might owe you more than a beer if you win to the comp. So Port off the short break against what could be a coach killer for Michael Voss tonight at Carlton. What do you reckon? What's going to happen?
Yeah, this is big. I suppose for both coaches, I mean, even with Ken as well, I think if one of these teams have a bad loss tonight, Pembo, I think we could see some movement in the coaching ranks because... God, if Fossey gets flogged again by Port Adelaide, you'd have to think he's definitely gone.
Yeah.
And I mean, if Carlton have a big win, they would have to consider maybe bringing Josh Carr in.
Then tomorrow, Saturday. No, tomorrow. Sydney v the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Sydney v the Bulldogs. I think this is going to be a great game. It's at the SCG on a Friday night, so they're going to get a good crowd there. I think the Swannies, Bulldogs are favourites, but I think the Swannies, now with Errol and Tom Papley back, are playing good footy, so I'm going to go the Swans.
Then Gold Coast and the Demons.
Yeah, Gold Coast at home against the D's.
Down in Tassie, Hawks and the Roos.
Yeah, Hawks are starting to play some good footy, so they'll smash the Roos.
Collingwood paying $1.03 to beat West Coast at Marvel.
To top versus bottom. This is going to be an absolute annihilation at Marvel. Oh, my gosh, Collingwood get to play at Marvel Stadium. No way, those poor buggers. That's a huge trip for them.
They hate playing away. Then Crows v Tigers.
Yeah, let's hope that we come back from the break in good nick. So I'm going to go the Crows.
And finally, Freo in the West against the Saints.
Yeah, Freo at Optus Stadium is just going to be too hard a task for the Saints.
Mate, based on your form, I reckon you're going to get all of them right and keep our listeners very, very happy. Good on you, Fitzy. We'll chat again next week, mate.
Good on you, boys. Speak then.
Bye. All right, that is all from us on this Thursday morning. Stick around for Graham.